Hello, everyone, Basic, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live, and welcome to the last show of Fired Up Live for 2022. We got a good show for you tonight, a lot of action-packed stuff, but we're going to begin with today was the passing of the greatest, the GOAT, greatest of all time in many eyes, Pelé in the soccer world. 3 World Cups at the age of 82. For those fans who don't know who Pelé is certainly the Wayne Gretzky of soccer. And Brazil and the whole world, football, soccer world, is in mourning for the greatest of all time, Pelé. Our deepest condolences to his friends and family. Again, Pelé, famed soccer star, passing away at the age of 82. Later on tonight, we're going to try to endeavor to get Carmen Asako, the coach, to talk about his thoughts about Pelé. And don't forget the soccer show tomorrow morning, 11:30, with hopefully Carmen, John Freeman Nelson, and Giancarlo Lino will reminisce and talk about Pelé. As you know, bowl season for college football, and this weekend, the college football playoffs begin. We're going to start off the show with the Hall of Famer from OSG Sports in Atlanta, John Freeman Nelson, on College Gridiron. John will be back later on in the show to preview the National Lacrosse League, and we're going to have a return on the show. A lot of people know her. Samantha Walters will be back later on the show as well. And we got the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show with Andy McNamara. And also we got Drew Ebanks, Sports Fluent, Anthony K with NBA Jump Ball. But we're going to begin with John Freeman Nelson on College Gridiron. Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to College Gridiron. Yes, College Gridiron with the Hall of Famer, John Freeman Nelson of OSG Sports in Atlanta. John, I don't know if you know this. We got millions and millions of new video watchers and listeners here on the Fired Up Network. Fun, 3-letter word, fun, F-U-N. All right, tell everybody, before we begin, tell everybody about OSG Sports.
OSG Sports is 2 separate channels, 2 separate apps. The Soccer Down Here app, available iOS and Android for all of your soccer conversation. Morning show is on Twitch, on Soccer Down Here channel, twitch.tv/Soccer Down Here, rolled over to a podcast later on. We've got live events across the board, one-on-one conversations with newsmakers, and all the weekly programming that we have as well. But then if it's not soccer, it goes over to the OSG Sports side of things, mainly college football, and you can download the OSG Sports app, available iOS and Android, on our weekly look at college football, the College Football X, or the College Football X, depending on your point of view. And you can pick that up on OSG Sports on YouTube and through your favorite podcatchers as well, the OSG Sports Network, available iOS and Android.
So wait a minute. Which one is X and which one is DX?
Well, it's you X, and then either way.
So that's the DX. All right. So I want to know which one is Shawn Michaels. Never mind. All right. Let's get to some college bowl games here. We'll start off Friday, December 30th, 8 p.m. in Miami. Number 6 Tennessee versus number 7 Clemson.
So you have the orange. You have the Vol orange and the Clemson orange in the Orange Bowl.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to end up being 3 separate shades of orange. So Pantone color will definitely be tweaked. And the guys who feel the most are the video in the production trucks, because they're going to have to find the colors matching all 3 different versions: the Orange Bowl orange, the Vol orange, and the Clemson orange. They're all 3 different shades. And so that the shaders in the production truck are going to be the ones who are really going to be the MVPs, to make sure that everyone's colors are going to be the way that they're supposed to. Tennessee, obviously, a lot of folks were looking at Tennessee possibly being in the CFP, the college football playoff, before the injury to Hendon Hooker, their quarterback, and it's been different for Tennessee. Saw Josh Heupel on the sidelines of the Georgia High School Championships a couple of weeks ago, looking at the talent, and he's already had a couple of linebackers that had declared to the University of Tennessee for the early signing period that just passed. And Clemson, you kind of wondered what team you were going to be getting, but once again, the frustration attached to DJ Uiagalelei at quarterback before he lost his starting job and ended up portaling to Oregon State. So it's not DJ Hooker; it's two backup quarterbacks, and so that is going to be the part that's going to be interesting for me. You're going to have Joe Milton slinging around the yard for Tennessee, and then quarterback still trying to learn the system at Clemson. I think it's going to end up being Tennessee. It's going to be a tight game. So probably you're looking at first and foremost and go over, and then Tennessee to win. Clemson, I'm thinking probably somewhere at the 28-20 range when it comes to your odds and things. So I'll go. I'll look at it this way. I'll go with Tennessee winning by a couple, but I think that the play really is going to be the total in this game. And right now, as we're staring at the numbers as we're talking, it is 63.5. Clemson a 4.5 point favorite, and 63.5 is your over under. So for me, I guess that means that Tennessee wins outright and go over on the total.
I actually, you picked 28-24. That was my score. That's why you heard I went like that. But I'm actually going with Clemson 28-24 in this one. That's Friday, December 30th, 8 p.m. on the Four Letter Network. I'm not going to talk about that from Miami. Now, Saturday, December 31st, number 5, Alabama versus number 9, Kansas State in the Sugar Bowl, New Orleans at noon.
This one to me is interesting because the last time that Alabama was in a bowl game that did not matter to them, I mean, the only thing is like, how motivated are you to show up for this bowl game, was in the Sugar Bowl, was against the University of Utah, and Utah cleaned them out. I don't think the same thing happens in this one. I think Kansas State, once again, is a 6.5 point underdog. I think Kansas State wins outright. I just don't think that the motivation is there for Alabama to show up in this game. Your total is 56. I don't know if they get to the total, but I think that Kansas State can show up and really make life frustrating for an Alabama team that really I don't think wants to be there.
You know what? I hate to disagree with you, but I'm going to.
No, you don't.
At number 5, Alabama 31. All right, Kansas State 20.
Okay,
that's the score I'm predicting in the semifinal. 4 p.m. Glendale, Arizona, the home of the Arizona Cardinals, the home of Super Bowl, the home of my Buffalo Bills capturing the Super Bowl February 12th. By the way, John, February 8th, you could over to cover it for OSG and all that. I'm in Michigan. All right, I'm in Michigan. Michigan, number 2 ranked versus number 3 ranked TCU. 4 p.m. Obviously, I'm going with Michigan. 28-27.
Okay, I think that TCU is a 7.5 point underdog as we're talking. Your total's 58.5, and I think that Max Duggan can challenge the secondary of Michigan. So I'll take the 7.5, and I will go with TCU to. I'll say it right here. I think TCU wins outright. I think that it's going to be a tight game, but I'll take the 7.5. 31-27 would be the total. That seems about right. So if they do it, they'll get right up against it, I think. But I'll take TCU in the 7.5, and I think that it's just under that 58.5 in the total.
All right. Then number 1, where you're at, Georgia taking on number 4, Ohio State in the Peach Bowl, 8 p.m. on New Year's Eve. Who you got?
I got to go with Georgia. Georgia's a 6.5 point favorite. You notice how the juice boxers are kind of sitting there and they're just laying right there in and around the 7 number. I've got to go with Georgia here. I don't know if CJ Stroud handle the pressure that is going to be coming from Georgia defensively. And for that reason, I don't think they get to the 60.5 when it comes to a number. Let's go the under, and let's go with Georgia probably just clearing that 6.5. I'll say that it might be a touchdown, might be 10 points by the time they're done, but I'll go with Georgia. I'll give the points and go just under that 62.5.
And just one more game. It happens in 2023, January 2nd at 5 p.m. It's the Rose Bowl. John, you love the Rose Bowl, right? Pasadena and all that. Number 8. Been there. All right. Been there. Utah versus number 11, Penn State. You've been there. Rose Bowl. When people look at the Rose Bowl, what does the Rose Bowl fit? Like 100,000?
100, yeah. Usually it's 100,000, just a little over. I think it's 102. And the way that it's such an old structure that when you go in, you're going in at the mezzanine level. You're going in right in the middle. And so if you have seats that are low, you're going down to them. If you have seats above, let's just say the 100 and 200 level, just for the sake of understanding, you go in right between the two levels. If you're in the 100s, you step down. If you're in the 200s, you turn around and go back behind you. And there really isn't a bad seat, but because it is such an old building, the one thing that always has been an issue at the Rose Bowl is letting folks into their seat and letting folks can go to concessions or whatever, because the hallways, the entranceways are so small, you literally can only have one-way traffic, and you have monitors on both sides of the hallways. It's like, okay, everybody's through. Then we change the traffic pattern, and it's counterproductive, really, for folks to get to their seats before the game, because you literally will have thousands of folks that want to come in, but until the monitors in the hallway sit there and flip the traffic pattern, you're still standing outside. So literally, you could be eating and possibly miss a kickoff if you're not plotting things like at least a half hour ahead of time to get to your seats. So I mean, it is a gorgeous venue. You park on the course that is adjacent to the property. And literally, I mean this, you park on the golf course, and the golf course makes an absolute killing financially, and that's how they repair the golf course every single year, is because of all the revenue they get from parking. But legitimately, you park on a golf course, you're there with 100,000 of your best friends, and it is a fantastic environment for college football.
What's bigger, this stadium, the Big House, or the Rose Bowl?
Big House is, I think, 108. So Michigan is larger by about 10 seats, I think.
Have you ever been here?
I've never been to the Big House, no. So let's see. Let me check capacity for the Big House in Ann Arbor. Stadium has a capacity of 107.6. So that is 107.6 is the current capacity. They had to slim it down when they brought in when they did some renovations, because the record attendance is 115,000, but the current capacity is 107. And for the Rose Bowl, just so I have my numbers straight, so 107.6 for the Big House in Ann Arbor, and for the Rose Bowl, it is currently, what is capacity? Come on now, I don't care about sponsors and things. What's capacity of this silly thing? Come on now.
We don't care about sponsors.
Yeah, well, I know we do too, but it's like what's the capacity of the Rose Bowl? Come on now. I don't want the Rose Bowl game. I want the Rose Bowl itself.
102.
Thank you. So 102. So it's about 6,000 less to go to the Rose Bowl than it is to go to the Big House.
So I have one, as we close this out, one soccer question. You know, 2026, the World Cups in Canada, Mexico, and the States. How come they did not have it at the Big House? Or I think they're talking about the Rose Bowl, but how come the Big House, if they're going to do a World Cup final or World Cup games here, 107,000, that could show off to the world.
But you have to make sure that your facility is, when it comes to width and length, and that you have enough space outside of the soccer.
John, they got 4 years.
No,
they can find out.
No, but you'd have to renovate. You'd have to renovate the Big House. You'd have to push things back, and you'd have to renovate it back, and it's kind of counterintuitive and counterproductive, really, from the cost benefit analysis for the folks in Ann Arbor. And the Rose Bowl is because they're going to SoFi. And so SoFi, they're going to have to do some adjustments there because it's not wide enough to house the end lines, the touch lines, and then work your way out. They're going to have to do some renovation outward from the football playing surface, but they'll get that done, and Stan Kroenke won't care.
And the U.S., Canada, and Mexico will not be in the World Cup final. All right, John, tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Easiest ways on the Twitters at OSG Nelson, as you see right here below us in the lower thirds. And if you want to follow along on everything college football, follow along at OSG Sports, the OSG Sports College Football X. Every single week, and we go over bowl game. It is Brother Marty, Brother Wilkie, Brother Phil, and myself as a cast of thousands take you through the world of college football every single week. The OSG Sports app available iOS and Android, theonlinesportsguys.com, and the OSG Sports YouTube channel as well.
What about Brother Love? I lie you. What about Brother Love? And Brother Love wants to know, are you going to do the XFL starting in a month?
Probably. Yeah, we'll be probably doing some XFL stuff because Brother Martin is in the same hometown as your Arlington Renegades, and he has already had conversations with head coach Bob Stoops heading into the season. So, yeah, we'll be keeping an eye on the XFL and the USFL.
And how do you think the XFL's what is this, 3 now? Part 3 going to do?
Well, I mean, the XFL, if you take care of yourself financially and you're very, very smart about your plan and have TV partners and revenue sources and things like that, then it's just take it a step at a time. Don't be too aggressive. Build like the XFL is doing in their reincarnation and in their second season.
And by the way, anybody who covers the XFL gets Terramana. That's according to DJ, my good close personal friend.
Hey, go for it, man. You want Terramana? It's all good.
All right. John, thanks a lot. Again, on behalf of everybody here on the Fired Up and Fam Network, Happy New Year. All the best to you and your family.
Be well. Same with everybody from down here to everybody up there.
Thanks a lot, John. That's John Ferguson. He'll be back later on today to preview the National Lacrosse Live. Also, happy birthday today to Devon White, 60 years old, almost catching up to Marty Roberts, who's 64. All right, February 8th, my birthday, not Marty Roberts, my birthday, February 8th. All right, the president of the provinces of Canada and soon to be the mayor-elect of North America. Now, as part of Fired Up Network, always we have female empowerment movement, and we always have the Renaissance Mama, Courtney Riddle, here on next. Courtney, a part of Female Empowerment Movement Femme. And next week, New Year, we're going to have the Blaze on once again. Here is Courtney Riddle with the Renaissance Mama.
Hi, friends. I'm Courtney. I'm a performer, speaker, and a writer. I'm a mama to 3 crazy boys and a super sweet dog. I decided 12 years ago that I needed to create a business that worked for me instead of me working for it. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur who may be considered a serial entrepreneur by some, but then I realized that all of my businesses focused on connection, community, and creating an incredible experience. I need to share with you how to make small, mighty changes in your life to affect your overall well-being and create a life and business you want to get up in the morning for. That's right, my friends. I am the Renaissance Mama. Hi, friends. It's me, Courtney, the Renaissance Mama. And I want to thank you so much for checking out the show today. Whether you're listening, you're watching it, maybe you're hearing it way later, I want to thank you for checking me out and being such an incredible audience. So I hope you have had a fabulous holiday season. I hope you were able to relax, enjoy, connect with your family. But I also hope that you've made some really big plans for the new year. I hope you were able to take that time to kind of review your year and then make big goals and exciting plans for the new year. And if you've done all that, then now it's time to start thinking, how am I going to get these things done? I'm going to tell you a little secret is that when the holidays hit, I pushed a lot of my projects to the side. I had a whole bunch of things going on. I didn't quite finish what I needed to get done. But instead of kind of worrying about that, I said, no, pushed it to the side. And I wanted to spend time with my family, my friends. I wanted to enjoy the holidays. I wanted that to be the focus of my holidays. And that is what I did. And it was absolutely amazing. But now I'm coming back to work mode and I realize that I have so much to do. I have 3 really big projects that are all coming to an end in the next 3 to 6 weeks. And I have so many things that need to get done before those projects can even happen. So what I thought I would share with you guys today is some of my tips and tricks on actually getting the work done. Fingers crossed it can happen, right? So we're going today, and I think it's really important to, first of all, realize that, when things are getting done, none of it has to be picture perfect. We always sometimes stumble over myself when I'm trying to do hard things to be absolutely perfect, but you also really want to make sure there's a degree of you're giving something respectable. If you're putting all your work and effort into it, you don't want it to be half-assed. You don't want it to be not what you are all about. So there's that very, very fine line. I'll give you an example for Christmas, right? So I'm running around doing all the things that I had to do, buying the presents, making the cookies, the decor, making sure our renovations were done. It was, and then at the end of the day, I finally said, I need to just let it happen. I've done as much as I could possibly do. I was tired. There was a storm. It needed to just happen. And it did. And it was wonderful. And nobody was the wiser. Nobody ever knows you were going to, buy one more thing or decorate one more thing or make one more something to eat. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. It was a huge success. So the kind of project I'm chatting about today, it could be a work project. It could be something personal you really want to get done. But I want to share with you some of my tips and tricks that I use to really get things done. So like I said, I've got 3 really large projects and a small amount of time and a lot of things to get done. I will tell you, in the past, I have been known to get very, very overwhelmed when my to-do list is too long. It's like, I don't know where to start, so I just almost shut down and I don't start anywhere. So I wouldn't say I procrastinate because I'm not waiting for a later time, but I just used to get so overwhelmed of all the things and I couldn't decide where, and then I would get frustrated and I couldn't focus on anything, and the time would slowly pass and then I would be stuck in this time crunch. So I've changed my ways. I've really learned what works for me, what does for me, and I'm hoping that some of these things will work for you. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's a business project, maybe it's a personal project. I think these strategies work with anything you're working on, and it's that same kind of step by step on how you're going about things. So the first thing I want you to do, if you are feeling this pressure, you need to get things done, the time crunch is coming, you have to be honest with yourself and you have to ask, number 1, does this project have to get done in this time? Sometimes no. Sometimes you might have a little leeway. Maybe you can push it a week or so. Maybe if you actually look at your schedule and what needs to be done, it doesn't need to be right now. You can give yourself a little bit of a leeway, a little bit of a runway, ease off the stress a little bit, but it still means you need to get this stuff done. But sometimes the answer is yes. So 2 of my 3 projects right now, yes, there is a sign of when things need to get done. I can't get around it. People are expecting from me. I have made commitments, and you know me, I've told you many times, once I make a commitment, it is going to get done. That's who I am. That's what I believe in. That's how I represent myself. No matter what I'm doing, it is going to get done. So yes, 2 of my 3 projects, 100% there is a time deadline. The 3rd one, maybe I'll look at to see if there's any flexibility, because that could ease the stress a little bit. But that's always the first question you really need to ask yourself. The second one is this a project that I want to be doing? I've told you guys this year, I had a big aha moment. I was working on a project that I thought was going to be an easy win. I thought it was going to be easy money. I put it all together. I started selling it. And then I realized not only did it take so much longer than I expected, but it was taking so much of my time and energy, and I didn't really want to even do the project. So I was very good at taking that step back and realizing, you know what? Yes, I already put all this work into this, but it's not what I want right now. So I shifted gears and started working on another project that is very, very dear to my heart. So once again, ask yourself, is this a project you need to do right now and you want to do right now? Sometimes the answer is yes, I want to do it. Yes, people are, depending on me to get this done. So if your answer is yes, you've said yes, you need to know, now you know your time crunch, this is where we're going to get started. First thing I do when I'm looking at my time crunch, I need so many things to get done and I'm a little stressing out trying to, keep myself going, is I create a master list. But this master list has 3 different parts. So the first part of the master list is, what are the things that I must have? I must have these things done to make my project a success. So for example, if I were to say my project was I'm throwing a big event. What are the must-haves to make that event happen? I must have a location. I must have food and drink, and then I must have probably some music or entertainment. Really, that's a must-have. So those are the 3 must-haves I have to make this event happen. I'm already assuming that I've already invited people. That's why the commitment's there, the time's there, all of that's sort of set in place. Then after my list of must-haves, I have a list of it would be nice. So back to that example of the party, the big event. So I've got my must-haves. It would be nice if I had some decor, right? The location's going to be what it is, but it would be nice if I had decor. It would be nice if I had maybe an activity or a game as people walked into the event. Third part of the list of the master list is the if I have time. So we've got must-haves, it would be nice, and then if I have time. You have 3 distinct lists. If you go back to that party example, so I already got my must-haves. I want the location, I need the food and drink, and I need some entertainment. It would be nice to have some decor, maybe a game. And then if I have time, which is like the cherry on the top, I would love to add some loot bags, right? So you could throw a party without loot bags. You can throw an event without decor, really. But in the must-haves, you need a location. You can't have another, party people coming to if you don't have a place to have it. So you see, there's very distinct, the must-haves, it would be nice, and if I have time. And I dump all the things that need to get done for that project in those 3 different columns. Once I've seen it, and I'm like, me, I'm very visual. I've got to see the big picture of all those different things. And you might go back and forth. You might be like, oh, actually, I believe that's a must-have. Oh, no, I believe it would be nice. Oh, okay, does that really need to happen? Maybe it's if I have time. So I go back and forth. Once I see all the things that, it would be nice, and if I had time, are on my mega list, I have to be very much time. I think each of those activities will take me to do. If I was doing absolutely everything, how long is it going to take to do the must-haves, this and that? You really want to be honest with yourself. And I know for me, I have a habit of thinking that things are going to take me much less time than they actually do. I would highly suggest when you are doing this exercise that you give yourself a little bit of extra time for everything. Assume everything is going to take longer than less time. Whenever I think it's going to take me less time, I get even more stressed, and then I'm not getting things done in the amount of time, and then I'm getting upset. And really, like I said, whatever your project is, you want the quality to still be great. You want it to be a representation of who you are and what you're all about. So yes, it doesn't have to be perfect, But if this is a project that you care about and that you're going to share into the world and that maybe people are paying you for, you want it to be a good quality. You want it to be something worthwhile. You want it to be something that you're putting your name on, right? You want people to say, yes, oh, I know so-and-so did that. So there's that fine line of like, yes, you want to get things done, but you also want to make sure that it is a great representation of who you are and what you're all about. Okay, so now you have your master list. Now you know how long everything is going to take to do. This is the time where we bring out the schedule. Bring out the schedule and see if it is actually feasible to you, for you. If I said, I'm starting just with you, I'm imagining you're one person. If you have a team, oh my goodness, even better. You can, outsource it all, figure out who's doing what, get those plans on. But if it's just you and you have this mega list of things that need to get done and you're looking at the schedule, does it actually make sense? Are you going to be able to get all these things done? And if not, this is the time where you have to consider outsourcing. So looking at your list of 3 things, those must-haves, it would be nice. And those, if I names, start obviously with your must-haves. Is there anything on that list that you could potentially pay someone to outsource or possibly ask a friend? I find as a business person, or even in my personal life, there's seasons that time is way more important than money to me. So I am willing to spend some money where necessary to get back my time. And there's the opposite. There's time I don't have the money, but I might have some extra time. So I can put the effort, I can put in the work. I know it's going to be hard. I might have to get up earlier. I might have to go to bed later, but I know I don't have that money to put into this. So you have to decide for yourself what season you're in right now. Are you okay with spending some money? Maybe you can pay someone to do a few of your jobs on your list. Maybe you can order something. Maybe there's a tool that would really help you right now. If you notice you're constantly kind of getting into the same situations, is there anything that could make your life easier to get these projects done if you just had, I don't know, a certain tool, a certain something? But I would definitely take the time to really see if there's any way you can take some of those things off of your list. Are you, if we're going back to that example of the party, are we able to order food somewhere? I want to pay for someone to come in and cater it. What's that going to look like? If I decide I wanted to, can I come in and decorate? Where can I spend money to outsource or make sure I have the time, all those things done? The other thing, like I said, it might not be you're paying someone. Maybe you're asking some friends. Maybe there's somebody in your life, some friends, some family, anyone in your community that you're like, listen, it was a really big project. Can I have your help doing this? And hope road, you can support that person with something else and give them your time or maybe your money, depending on the season of what you have more of at that particular season. And if there's nobody that does the thing that you need to get done, where I reach out to my community. I love hopping on like Facebook groups, especially like local business groups, and just throwing out a question of like, hey, does anyone know anyone who does, I don't know, graphic design? Does anyone know anyone who does video editing? Has anyone used a person who does whatever the project may be that you need help on? If you don't know somebody, I guarantee you, if you throw the word out there in your community, somebody knows someone who can help you. So once you figure that out, if there's anybody to help you on your list, if there's any way you can take anything off of that list that you personally either don't have time to do, or maybe it's not your forte. Maybe it makes so much more sense to pay someone to do something that you don't really like to do and you're not good at. So check and see if there's any way you can outsource anything off of your list. Now you have that list of must-have. It would be nice, and if I have time, hopefully you were able to out some of the list isn't as long, but now you go back to that master list. You have a good idea how long everything is going to take. It's time to get that schedule out and actually put in the proper amount of time to get those things done. So you want to be realistic. Like I said, you want to give yourself a little leeway, assume things are going to take you a little, but really look at that schedule and where you're going to get these done. And I would make a master schedule. I love the master. I love the idea of master. I want big visual schedule of, okay, this action is happening here. This one's happening here. I'm going to time block this and write it all out. Be very clear on when and how you're going to get these things done. I find if I have the master list of like to-dos, that's great. A good idea of what needs done. It helps me, take away the overwhelm. But if I don't have a proper schedule of when these things are going to get done, oh man, that stress creeps right back in and the overwhelm is right back there. So you want to really give yourself a schedule of how and when you are going to get things done. I'm honest with yourself. In that schedule, I want actual focus time. It can't be a 10-minute, 15-minute time block here or there. Like, you want to give yourself a good chunk of time that's going to be focused to actually get these things done. You don't want to set yourself up for failure. You want to set yourself up for that success. You want to get these things done. They have to get done. You said you're going to do it, so you have to make sure that happens. All right, so if you got your master list of what you need to get done, and you notice there's a lot of similar things, it is best to try and schedule those things together. You've probably heard me talk about it before, and so many other people trying to batch work. So we are told that really we can't multitask that well. Although we think we're doing a great job multitasking, a lot of times it is better to do the same thing multiple times so you're very focused and clear on that exact same thing. I'll give you an example. I had a project recently. I was making all these videos and I had edited them all. They're ready to go, but I needed an image for YouTube for each of the video clips. I wanted them to look similar. I wanted them to look clean, professional, really nice. So what I decided to do is I would sit there on my desktop and do all those images all at once because I was doing something very similar. I was able to do them so much quicker than if I had uploaded the video, then looked for an image. Oh, then went to got the image, put it back, Like, it would be too confusing, but that's usually how our minds work. We think, oh, I need this now, I'm going to go get it. Rather than let me do all of those things together. So I'm focused on that one objective and they will all look similar. The results will be exactly what I need to do and they all get done. If there's any way in your project you can batch work very similar items, I would put that on my schedule. Like, okay, this is the next chunk of my schedule. I'm going to do all of these things because they're very similar and I can do them together. The next thing you need to think about is once you have that schedule, you need to respect it. So you've spent by now, hopefully, a lot of time making your master list. Then you've taken more time to either pay someone to outsource, best friends. You put a lot of work into this. Now you've created your master schedule. You need to stick to it. You need to respect it. You have created your plan. You need to see it through. So this may mean saying no to other things, and that's perfectly fine. It may mean that maybe you can't do all the things you normally do. Maybe you can't volunteer at the school this week. Maybe you can't, walk the kids back and forth to school. Maybe you can't do some that you normally do. And I would just be completely honest with people and say, hey, I'm working on this big project right now. I'm sorry. I'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I would change that on my phone message. I would change it on my email. So I am not getting distractions, but I'm being honest with people. Listen, I'm working on this something fabulous. I can't wait to share it with you, by the way, but it might take me a little bit longer to get back to you. Let your friends know that. Let them know I can't go to dinner tonight because I'm working on something really important. Thanks so much for the invite. And I feel like sometimes we get so nervous about telling people no. We get so nervous about saying, hey, normally I do this thing. I'm sorry, I can't do this. I'm busy, right? Like, it does hurt. Let people know you need that time back. You need it for something really really important right now, people will totally respect you for it. They'll be like, yes, thank you. Oh, no problem. We'll hang out another day. Okay, I'll call you back later. Okay, we'll reschedule. That's not a problem. So just being really open and honest and being able to respect that schedule that you've taken the time to create, I think it's really important. The next thing you want to think about when you want to get these things done is I want you to set up the space that you're going to get it done and take away those distractions. So that might mean your phone has to go on silent. Maybe it needs to go on do not disturb. Maybe you need to push it far away if you're going to be tempted by the phone. I also want you to be ready for you to work. Nothing is worse than sitting down and being like, oh, I forgot I need this and had to go get it. Oh, I forgot I need that and have to go get it. If you have all your tools ready, you have it all laid out, you have it in a space that you know you're not going to be distracted, you know, you put the phone away, you've got, you know, all the things that you need, you will be able to get those things done. You'll be able to check them off your list and you will feel so much better when that all happens. On the same line, if there's any supplies you need, I would do a master list of supplies and buy that ahead of time. Once again, nothing's worse than getting to, you know, working on a project and realizing, oh no, I don't have this. I need to either go buy it or I need to order it. And now your time could be even longer, right? So really think of all those things you need. Prep yourself, get yourself ready. Let people know in your life, this is what's happening. I need to get this done. I've told you before, there's lots of times that I have to tell my kids, hey guys, I'm sorry, I'm not going to, be at hockey practice tonight, or I'm doing this and that. Like, mommy's working on a big project right now. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited and happy for it. But here's what's happening. So then they know, and they're in the same, they're on the same page as me. They know what's happening. They're able to respect that. And it goes definitely both ways. So once you're all here and you're getting things done, you got to keep going back to that master list, making sure you know where you're at, making sure your time is still lining up, making sure things are getting done. Because trust me, there's going to be hiccups. You've got to expect the hiccups. There's going to be life getting in the way. So some of your times it might not happen the way you wanted to. So you might have to find another way to get that extra hour back, or, like I said, wake up earlier, go to bed later. It's not ideal, but you know that it's only going to last for a certain amount of time. You know that this is coming to an end. It's going to be what you want it to be, but you need to get to the finish line. So you got to put in the work now, but be ready for those little things to happen. And I just keep going to my master list. I'm very master list when things are actually like done. I'm like, they're highlighted in a different color. So I know, okay, perfect. There might be little notes on them. They're like, they're half done. It still needs this. That part still needs this. This part still needs that. Whatever it is, I'm always updating master list. So when I go back, I have a clear picture of what still needs to be done. I have a clear picture of like, okay, maybe there's a few things from that it would be nice pile that I can add to the must-haves because I got it. And then maybe I have some extra time. And maybe those, if I had time, things can happen as well. But you also want to make sure whenever you're going through your master list that you have set the priority right. So in my must-haves, there has to be something that needs to get done before something else. Like, what is the most important thing in that must list that needs to get done? If we go back to our party example, if I don't have a location and a place to throw my party, then the food and drink, it doesn't matter. If I don't have a location to throw my party, then the music and entertainment, it doesn't matter. So make sure you know where is the top priority and getting those things done in order and making sure that they're done and complete and checking in. If you are having people to outsource things, if you're, pay someone to do something, check in. Nothing is worse when you're like almost at the deadline, ready to be done, and you go check in and they're done, right? I don't want that. I want all the things to happen smoothly. I want your projects to go up with such a success that it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I know you can be. I know, and trust me, I've been there. The mega list seems scary and might seem intimidating, but if you take the time to really break down, like I said, I want you to have that master list. I want you to have the 3 sections. I want you to have a master schedule. I want to see where you can outsource. And then I want you to respect your schedule and keep going back to that master list to see where you can add in the extra, see where you can add in the cherry on top. If you have time, it would be lovely. But if you don't, know that your must-haves is so strong that it is still a great representation of what you do and what you're all about. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I would love to hear what projects you have on the go. I would love to hear what you're up to. The Renaissance Instagram at Courtney Renaissance Mama. I would love to do this conversation. I want to hear what you're up to. I want to see how I can help you. And I would also love it if you have a moment to give me a review on Apple Podcasts. It has been such a pleasure, creating this show, being on a podcast. I want to hear from you. What do you love about the show? What can I give you more of? Because 2023 is going to be an amazing year. I absolutely know it. And I can't wait to do it with you. Bye for now, friends.
Thank you to Courtney Riddell of the Renaissance Mama. Of course, each and every week she provides the Renaissance Mama, and she's on most weeks on The Blaze. All right, we're going to go from that to the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show with my good friend Andy McNamara. Of course, Thursday Night Football, Tennessee and the Dallas Cowboys tonight around 8:15, 8:20 p.m. So before the game, we got the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show right here with Andy. Here we go.
It is Fantasy Football Championship Week. Who's ready? Who's ready to go? We got the info that you're going to need to maybe win that championship, your DFS contest, your consolation bracket, whatever. Finish strong, people. I'm Andy McNamara, and you're watching the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show right here on Firedup Network, whether it's on the app, whether you're watching, you're listening, over 200 platforms. We're on with you. Big show today. And it's like I said, look, coming to the end of the NFL regular season, championships. But the main thing, finish strong. Have some pride. Even if you're in the consolation, finish strong. Just like the teams out of the play in real life NFL, you want to finish strong. So we'll get to some betting tips to come up. There's some interesting lines. Thursday Night Football, a perfect DFS DraftKings lineup as well. I got that set up for you. That's there. Listen, when we're talking fantasy football for the championships, there's a lot of meat on the bone that might be falling off the plate when it comes to guys like Derrick Henry. And we're going to get to Titans, Cowboys, and all the big matchups. Get your questions in using hashtag AskAndy on social media, at AndyMC81 on Twitter, at AndyMCSports. Make sure you give me a follow there. But let's bring in my guy, Jeff Bell from football.com. And let's start hashing this out because, Jeff, first of all, welcome, sir. Happy holidays. How are you?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on. Yes, it is the Fantasy Championship Week, and it's been a grind to get here. And if you're here and if you made it to here, congratulations. And like you said, finish strong and bring it home.
That's right. Like, don't you, before we get to the game, Jeff, like, don't you agree? Like, even if you're going third place, you're playing for sixth. The main thing in your league is to beat your friends, right? It's to beat people in your league. It's to have that little one-upmanship no matter what. So don't be one of those guys who forgets to set their lineup. Have some class, right?
I agree. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. If you're still playing for something, if you have a consolation bracket going on, set a good lineup and,
Yes.
Pay attention, and it helps you dial in. And as you prepare for the offseason for next year, if you play dynasty leagues, you're playing all year long. If you're just kind of a redraft player, still you want to have an eye set on who might be the guys to look for, the sleepers for next summer.
It really is. And you know what? The impact for the Fantasy Football Championship starts Thursday night. Why not? Because a guy that many people have ridden to possibly a championship matchup is Derrick Henry. And it doesn't look like Derrick Henry in Titans versus Cowboys is going to play, which is a catastrophe for fantasy football owners. Because, Jeff, as we know, you're not replacing a Derrick Henry. You're not replacing that star power. So now we really look at Okay, I guess if you have $5 left, look, it's the end of the year. You might as well spend it all on Hassan Haskins, I guess, right? The number 2 back.
Yeah, Hassan Haskins would be the play. It'll be curious to see how they work it out because they've relied so heavily on Derrick Henry, and they had a little bit of Dontrell Hilliard when he was active playing a pass catching role. If they will slide Hassan Haskins into that lead role, or they will use a committee between him and the other rookie that they have, Julius Chestnut, an undrafted free agent that they've added and they really like. But I would expect that if you're choosing between the two of them, Haskins is the way to go, and Haskins is really the only one that you can consider putting into a lineup because of that unknown uncertainty. But there's a chance he does get the whole role. The concern is Dallas is a very good run defense, and they've really shut down fantasy running backs. And so, this isn't a playing the gosh. I don't mean to attack you here, but your Browns, you've allowed most points to running backs, and so this isn't a matchup here. This is a difficult matchup to begin with.
Yeah, it's true. By the way, Brian Robinson against the Browns all day, all of them, all Brian Robinson, just funnel it. Just everything Brian Robinson versus my poor Browns this weekend. But no, you're right. And it's a case where, Jeff, we have to look at, okay, when you're picking between these what-if running backs, at least Haskins has been in the lineup. He's been in the huddle. He's been taking those reps. He's part of the offense. Now, the concern, of course, is you mentioned it, that the Dallas run defense is really good. The pass defense can be had, but you don't have old broken ankles Tannehill. You got Malik Willis, who they're not comfortable throwing the ball. And after seeing him throw it, I'm not too comfortable him throwing the ball either. It seems like it just might be a slog. Like the Titans might not have a choice but to run.
Yeah, and I think that's really their game plan by design anyways. And I believe that this is the biggest spread on the weekend, or it's up there. Dallas is favored heavily. Dallas has concerns of their own with Tony Pollard looking like he might not play. So that shoves things on Ezekiel Elliott there. But again, Tennessee is a strong run defense as well. But I do think that maybe we will see a little bit more of that schemed quarterback run with Malik Willis and using a little bit more of that RPO action, having some more forcing him to run a little bit more versus kind of just before he was just turning around, handing off to Derrick Henry, and they're trying to get out of games. They're riding a massive losing streak right now, so they need to try to something out.
Yeah, and actually, auction around this game coming in on Twitter using hashtag AskAndy at AndyMC81, and you can get Jeff at the number 4. Whom J Bell tolls. That's a sweet handle, brother. I like that. I like that a lot. So this coming in from at Mr. Griff B. Andy, I'm in the finals in one league. Grabbed Haskins. Should I go him or Pollard? That sort of goes what we're talking about. It looks like Pollard is not going to play. And if he does, it looks like super limited. This should also be like, if you're looking at DraftKings contests or whatever, like this should be a feast day for Ezekiel. Like get the old soup spoon back out, right?
One would hope so. And then Malik Davis kind of as that second backup running back in Dallas, kind of sliding in a little. Maybe that's might be a desperation Hail Mary if you're playing the showdown for DraftKings. But again, Tennessee is a good run defense. And so I think Dallas might try to strike through the air because Tennessee has been susceptible through the air. And CeeDee Lamb is going to be a great play tonight. You have a feeling he had a great game last week. He was the top wide receiver last week. And so he pushed you into a lot of those championship games. But I think Dallas is going to attack through the air, and that would be the way that I would expect him to go. The thing of it is, if Tennessee can't keep up, they get up big, and then they're just kind of grinding it towards the end of the game. But that's kind of where, that Malik Davis maybe slides in to get some production towards the end of the game. I do like Ezekiel Elliott, and I think that they're going to give him ample opportunity to lead this backfield without power. But again, it's a desperation plug-in. If you don't have any other option to get you to the championship game, I think there's a lot better. Brian Robinson's a great matchup. If you've got him, there are a lot better guys on the slate that as you move on, really the last thing that you want to do going into your fantasy championship is start off Thursday night with a goose egg from Hassan Haskins in your lineup that you're looking at for the next 3 days.
Right. That's just the worst, right? Yeah. Just staring at you right in the face. I'm wondering, too, if we look at just the line. I'm on the DraftKings Sportsbook here. So you said the biggest spread. Yeah, it's 12.5 looks like. I'm just wondering, Jeff, if not that the Dallas Cowboys aren't going to win handily, but because we spoke about both defenses being strong, they get up and start grinding it out. I'm wondering if the Cowboys will score enough points to win by that much. You know what I mean? Like I'm wondering if it might be they'll win handily, they'll win comfortably. The game won't be necessarily in question, but will they have to win by almost 2 touchdowns?
Well, I think that would be the concern, that they get up by 21 in the first half, because Tennessee, I think I saw yesterday, they're sitting 5 or 6 defensive starters as well. This isn't just a Derrick Henry is the only one sitting situation. They're sitting guys on the defensive side as well, because really the only game that matters now for their season is week 18 against the Jaguars. So anybody at all that's a little bit iffy, they're playing very cautious coming into this game. And so, yeah, I think that there's going to be the potential, but you're exactly right. If you get up by 21 points and Malik Willis can't move the ball and you're just kind of sitting on the second half, and we've seen that before, that could happen. Yeah,
it could be some garbage time points, whatever it might be. Over under set at 40. I don't know. I'm thinking we'd take the under on this, Jeff. Like, this is, again, just for the reasons we spoke about. Like, this could be a 21-9 or 13 game, and you're hitting the under safely. I think I'd be taking the under here.
Yeah, Dallas's defense is so strong that if you're really just kind of fading the entire Tennessee offense, can Tennessee get to 14 points, And if they can't get to 14 points, then Dallas needs to have 28-35 to, get to that number. And I think walking up, that's kind of what I do with those over-under sometimes is like, if I'm very concerned about one team, like I'll walk up their point total. And if I can't get the Titans to 17 to 14 points, then I'm not too concerned about Dallas hitting 35 that can push me over that number.
Right. I'm with you. And if I'm looking, okay, so I set my DraftKings slate, my showdown lineup for Titans versus Cowboys. I put Ezekiel Elliott in the captain spot where you get 1.5 times the points for 1.5 times the salary. Jeff, honestly, the only guy I put in there was Hassan Haskins for Tennessee. I couldn't do anybody else. I put Elliott in the captain spot, Prescott. I got the kicker, Brett Mayer. I got Dalton Schultz and CeeDee Lamb. And the only guy for Tennessee is Haskins. Like, I couldn't even feel like that comfortable. I'd rather go kicker over Malik Willis just because we have not seen really anything out of him outside of the odd scramble that excites me fantasy-wise about him.
Yeah, I'm at the same place there. I don't blame you for going that direction. Hassan Haskins, he should get the goal line work. So if Tennessee gets down and he can fall into the end zone, I guess if you're playing Haskins, that's really what you're hoping for. You're hoping that he can get into the end zone and maybe accumulate 40, 50, 60 yards and maybe catch a pass or two, because we know Tennessee doesn't use their backs in the passing game frequently, especially with Malik Willis at quarterback. So you're really kind of just hoping for that 40 to 60 yards with a touchdown and kind of get anything out of it.
Yeah, PPR, like you said, couple catches, mix it in a little bit there and see what. Let's get to another Twitter question. This is coming from says, hashtag Ask Andy, who do you suggest at tight end? Taysom Hill at Philadelphia or Schultz coming in tonight at Tennessee? Any other suggestions to push me over in the finals? Now, when we look at Schultz, he's been flat, coming off that injury and the expectations coming in from the year. We know he can pop and flash. I wonder, Jeff, if I'm looking at with T.Y. Hilton coming in and that one big pass, his only catch target last week, I wonder if we're looking at options. CeeDee Lamb and Zeke Elliott 1A. Then we go Michael Gallup and Hilton. I almost feel sort of cannibalize each other a bit. And Dalton Schultz maybe with those other targets, but he's been real flat lately.
Yeah, and I think that Taysom Hill gives you that upside probably going into your championship matchup. And Philadelphia is a strong defense, but I think the Eagles are intently watching tonight, because if the Titans were somehow able to pull up an upset, then Philadelphia feels a lot more comfortable going into this weekend, because there is that that slight chance that as much as we thought the Eagles were the best team in football and running away with everything, they lose 2 games, the Cowboys win 2 games, and the tiebreaker works out, and all of a sudden Dallas is stealing the NFC East. But I do think that Taysom Hill gives you just a little bit more upside out of that tight end position, and going into the championship matchup, I mean, that's really what you're swinging for.
The ultimate fantasy Grinch, the fantasy football poison that is Taysom Hill. Because, Jeff, every time we think, we're like, all right, Taysom, like we know now that we say is he's getting you 3 points. He's getting 3 fantasy points. That's what's happening with Taysom. He's so frustrated, drives me nuts. I was thinking as well, check in your availability on the waiver wire, folks, because he's still available in about 32% of leagues. How about a little Tyler Higbee? Last 2 games, Jeff, Baker Mayfield's been fine. This guy 16 total targets, 3 total touchdowns. Still, the yardage is, he had 94 last week, but the yardage is still a bit of a concern overall, and still the variability of what Baker Mayfield is week to week. But boy, and as thin as a tight end group is, I might be inclined to think, hey, versus the Chargers, Tyler Higbee could do worse.
Yeah, I agree. The Rams should be in a trailing game script, but there should be plenty of points in that game against the Chargers. And we saw the Rams offense explode last week against Denver. So, I mean, Higbee is definitely on the radar, and the way the tight end position is going, you can consider plugging him in there. I feel like I'm being trolled a little bit. Higbee knocked me out in my home league last week. So I'm heartbroken over Tyler Higbee right now. But no, the production definitely has been there over the fantasy playoffs now, scoring back-to-back weeks and with all those targets last week. And that's rare to get a tight end that sees that many targets.
Jeff, that sucks. Because before that, as we know, he was getting like 14 yards.
Yeah. Oh, I'm very aware. It's like 2 catches for like 20-yard tops for a solid 2 months. And the guy that I'm playing against plugs him in and drops a 35-point burger on me and knocks me out. But,
that hurts. That's, that you're right. That's fantasy life. That's life right there. Let's get into a couple other start sits going into this weekend, because now it's the time where, like we're seeing with Tennessee, and you have to be very aware of who's sitting who. Now, we talked about my Browns coach, Kevin Stefanski. There was thought that maybe Jerome Ford would get more time in place of a Kareem Hunt, not much for Nick Chubb to play for. But from what the coach is saying, you take that with a grain of salt always, but looks like the starters are going to be going. So it looks like a Jerome Ford, you don't have to get too cute in that type of situation. So
no, I don't think that's a consideration there. I think that you really look at the Browns, and they were eliminated last week, but they still need Deshaun Watson to turn back into Deshaun Watson. And so they need to provide that environment for him to be able to produce and get comfortable. And these last 2 games are important because he has to show that he's increasing that comfort level, that you can feel confident coming into 2023 with him. Kevin Stefanski has got to be coaching for his job, I would have to think a little bit, because 2 ugly showings here the last 2 weeks. I know he's been a semi-popular coach in Cleveland there, but at the same time, ending the season on that note with all the negativity swirling around the team with just bringing Watson in and whatnot, I think that they need strong performances to close out the year.
Yeah, well, he's trending, unfortunately, for Browns fans in Matt Nagy country. Because remember, Jeff, Matt Nagy came in Coach of the Year. Oh, wow, Matt Nagy. And then each year, a little worse, and then it was a disaster. So hopefully won't have to deal with that. But an interesting fantasy game that has a lot of impact, of course, is Dolphins versus Patriots. Tua out again with concussions. Teddy Bridgewater back in. And we've seen in limited play, Teddy Bridgewater can be a serviceable distributor of the football to keep the pieces around him fantasy relevant. We got, like a Jalen Waddle in Teddy's big, I think it was week 6 game, went for over 100 yards. So I at least feel for those Dolphins owners, because we're getting questions in about that as well, that you can feel comfortable that Teddy can do it, but you still have that Patriots defense, which is tricky.
It is, and that's going to be the Patriots' game plan. They want to take the air out of the ball for Miami and force them to potentially use the run game if possible. And I don't know. Offensively, the Patriots have really struggled lately. I don't think they want Mac Jones in any sort of a shootout. Teddy Bridgewater, yes, I think you're on the right track there, where you feel more comfortable that he can keep Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle productive versus plugging Teddy Bridgewater in your own lineup. But at the same time, the quarterback landscape this week is just really, really desolate right now with some of the injuries that we've had and some of the production issues that we've had. And so, if you're desperate, Teddy's on that radar. But again, you're exactly right that the Patriots have been a strong defense.
Yeah, and Teddy's proven he can get you those high teens, even pop into the low 20s. So, it is tricky against that New England defense. And we have to remember, too, look, if you picked up Gardner Minshew, keep him on the bench for now, because Jalen Hurts did not practice Wednesday. So that's something to keep tracking as the weekend approaches. Don't be, cutting bait with a guy like Gardner Minshew because of, like you said, that fantasy quarterback landscape really thin.
It is very bad this week. This is about as bad a week as you're going to get. And, I think that a lot of us were concerned that We moved a lot of fantasy championships to week 17 because of the additional week. And week 18, what's week 18 going to look like? But at the same time, you're seeing some things going on with, the Tennessee Jacksonville game, with that game this week for both of those teams not meaning all that much. And just kind of a lot of movement around the league, Derek Carr getting benched, those types of things that are really just kind of surprising.
Well, let's finish on that note. Derek Carr benched for Jarrett freaking Stidham. Now, we talked about Derrick Henry owners furious. Devontae Adams owners, not that he was lighting up the fan, but he's still Devontae Adams. And you have Jarrett Stidham, Josh McDaniels, enemy number one to fantasy football owners. Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs. We can't. Jarrett Stidham's, I think they said, played 61 regular season snaps. We can't trust any Raiders here, can we?
No, it's really rough against the 49ers. And the 49ers, they've got their division on lock, but that defense has been playing lights out, and they've said that they're still chasing the Vikings for playoff positioning. So they're not going to call off the dogs, I don't think, with the 49ers. It is just a very, very concerning situation for the Raiders now. Josh McDaniels had Jarrett Stidham in New England, and there was a period where it looked like Jarrett Stidham might be the Patriots quarterback of the future before they brought Cam Newton in that year, that first year after Tom Brady. And so I guess he wants to see what he's got there, but I don't think anybody really expects that there's too much there. And yeah, Devontae Adams owners, unfortunately, probably aren't playing this week because Adams' production has really fallen off a cliff over the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, if you've still got him going, it is a disappointing situation.
Yeah, and again, Josh Jacobs, phenomenal year. Darren Waller coming back, that's significant. So we look at that, and then also Nick Foles in Indianapolis. Seems like if it's not in Philadelphia, Nick Foles can't do it. Put up 3 points last week. They're talking maybe they'll put in the younger Ellinger, who stinks as well. Michael Pittman, an excellent player, but the Colts are another team fantasy wise. DFS wise, I'm definitely avoiding them. But if you have other options, we should be probably staying away, even though it's against the Giants.
Yeah, I would. That seems like a situation where they're really just kind of limping towards the finish line.
Yeah.
And when they brought Jeff Saturday in, I kind of had speculation that maybe this is a situation where Jim Irsay wants to tank out the rest of the season, get a real quarterback in the draft, and maybe Saturday was a good friend of his that was able to cut him a check and allow him to do that job. And it kind of feels like that's where we are.
Yeah, exactly. In a good quarterback draft class.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. There's some good guys coming through. Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, Will Levis are guys that you're excited about.
Those Colts, man, always seem to, but you know what? Not number one pick bad. At least we got that. Not number one. He's not going to backdoor his way in again for another Manning and Luck.
No, but I think the thing to watch with them would be the Texans have been playing better football lately, and the Bears are struggling. So if there's that scenario where the Texans win another game, the Bears get into that number one pick, all of a sudden I think with Justin Fields that the Bears are going to take a quarterback, which means that pick becomes up for grabs as opposed to the Texans just locking in their top quarterback selection.
Yes. Ooh, that could be. I kind of want that to happen. That could be interesting. We love a little chaos, right?
That's right.
Love a little bit of that. Listen, Jeff, you've been very generous with your time. Tell people where they can find you. Put out great work at Football Guys.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, like you mentioned, the number 4, whom J Bell tolls. And then you can find me with Football Guys. I have an article that comes up on Monday morning that's really a roundup of the weekend and recaps, runs through the entire weekend. I've got roundtables that I publish throughout the week that talk about college football, that talk about dynasty football. You can find me Wednesday nights. We do a live show. We do a football show on Wednesday nights on Football Guys. And then tonight, Thursday night, we do the Audible Live with Sigmund Bloom, Matt Waldman, and myself. So you can find me all these different areas.
I love it, man. Well, you know what? Let's talk again college football real soon because that's I want to pick your brain on that another time.
I'm down, man. Anytime.
All right, brother. Good stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All
right, there he goes. Jeff Bell from footballguys.com. Yeah, hey, we got college football playoffs. Let's go, Buckeyes. Oh, wait. I-O. Let's go. I think they're going to get trounced, unfortunately. I think George is just going to boot ski. Not going to be great for my Buckeyes. But this is a great time of year, all that. By the way, hope everyone had a great, happy holiday season. Didn't even mention that off the top. So excited about all the fan conversation and talk. Your question or whatever, I will try to answer it on Twitter before kickoff or before the Sunday slate of games as well. Hashtag Ask Andy. Couple other best, but my 2 hot picks right now. All right, 2 hot. going to be spicy. Like I said earlier, I'm slamming that under of 40 points for Cowboys Titans tonight. Just absolutely. By producer Joe. Nice. Got to put that in a hot sauce bottle. That look good. I like that. Broncos Chiefs 12.5. You guys know I usually don't like doing the double digit thing, but the Broncos are so. You made Baker Mayfield look like a Super Bowl champ. Come on. You made Cam Akers. People scrambling to get Cam Akers into their lineup with 3 touchdowns. Broncos are done. They fired their head coach, Nathaniel Hackett. What a bum. And they got the advisor in. Broncos, total train wreck. I'd be taking, you get that for Chiefs to cover -110. I would do that. You're not betting the money line -720. And then a couple other ones that I like. Let's see. There was the Dolphins Patriots with Teddy Bridgewater in New England. Boy. You know what? I do like Teddy. I probably would still take the Patriots to win that one. Raiders, 9.5 point dogs to the 49ers. That's another one. -115. Take the 49ers at the, you know what? That's actually a pretty good line. We're not getting too cute. Here's what: Seahawks home dogs to the Jets, 2-point underdogs. Now the Seahawks and Geno Smith have been coming back down to earth somewhat, right? Maybe good idea to pause on that giant contract people wanted to give Geno. A great fantasy year for him. Overall, I put Geno in the lineup. Jets defense is tough, but +110 for the Seahawks to win outright. That 2-point spread's a pick 'em pretty much. Yeah, I could say, look, you got the Jets, Zach Wilson banished again with his tiny toddler shoulders. Zach Wilson, terrible pick. Said it at the time, said it going into the draft. Horrible. But now you get, okay, Mike White's back. All right, hard for Robert Saleh, but Seahawks +110. I think that's some smart money there. And the Vikings, 3-point road dogs to the Packers. Packers starting to feel a little bit, but the Vikings +155. Yeah, it's in Lambeau, but we really feel that might be a game where I'm looking at the Vikings +155. Again, sort of in that, if you give the home team 3 points, that's kind of a bit of a pick 'em there as well. I'd take the Vikings +155 at the dog for the straight money line. And Rams Chargers bad. Hey, then no one has to go anywhere. There's no home dog, right? You got -6.5 point favorite for the Chargers. Rams, I think with Baker, they kind of feel they could cover. I wouldn't take him to win, but maybe cover that 6.5. I could see that -110. That's not a bad game. And again, whatever the prop play is going to be for my Browns, giving up for Brian Robinson, especially with by the way, folks, Antonio Gibson looks like he'll be out or severely limited. So if you got Antonio Gibson for the Commanders in your fantasy line, get him out of there. Get him out of there. Make alternate plans. Brian Robinson is in a smash spot. Defensive coordinator for the Browns, Joe Woods, even said today, he's like, our problem is we give up explosive plays. And they're like, the reporters, they said, well, how are you going to stop that? And he's like, well, we haven't been able to. It's like, I know. Well, he didn't give an answer, is what I'm saying. He didn't give an answer. So Brian Robinson is just in an absolute smash spot there for the Commanders over my poor Browns. So there you go, folks. Any other questions? Hit me up on Twitter, #AskAndy on Twitter, @AndyMC81, Instagram, @AndyMCSports. Have a jersey giveaway, signed, autographed Nick Chubb Browns jersey, by the way. Make sure you check that out. That is pinned on my Twitter. Check that out to see how you can enter and possibly win that. Good luck in the Fantasy Football Championships. Good luck throwing some bucks down on the betting side. For producer Joe, thanks for Jeff Belt for joining us as well. I'm Andy McNamara. You've been listening and watching the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show on the Firedup Network.
Thank you to Andy McNamara, Ultimate Fantasy Football Show. And again, the Dallas Cowboys, Tennessee Titans begin in about 5 minutes time. We'll see what happens there. A lot of injuries. Tennessee falling out of first place. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Yes, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in first place. That's like me having long hair saying Happy New Year across my face or something like that. All right. So now I present NBA Jump Ball with Drew Ebanks, Captain Canada, OnPointBasketball.com. And of course, you want to be more sports fluent? We're going to be more sports fluent with Anthony K. Yes, Anthony K. And we talk about almost everything in the NBA, even some Raptor trade rumors. We talk about Drew Ebanks' new wine and who or am I going to propose on New Year's Eve. Here is NBA Jump Ball. Everybody, this is Joseph Asik, and welcome to the Firedup Network. Welcome to NBA Jump Ball featuring Drew Ebanks of OnPointBasketball.com, and you're going to be more sports fluent with sports fluent himself, Anthony K. We're going to talk about NBA here. Well, I'm going to go to Anthony here. Anthony, you about a month ago, a year ago, you would say, who's the best player in basketball? You would say the Greek Freak, right?
Yeah.
About a month ago, maybe a year ago or whatever. Now, if I asked you, who is the greatest player right now, best player in basketball right now, who would you say?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
You're
It hasn't
incorrect.
changed.
You're incorrect.
It hasn't changed.
No, it has changed. Drew, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who's player right now?
I mean, hottest player. I know where you're
Not
going.
hottest player, but who's the greatest player right now who gets you 60 points, 20 rebounds as like a guard
Yeah, sure.
forward
10
type?
assists and 0 defense. Absolutely.
Well, it doesn't matter.
It absolutely matters. That's your problem. You're one-sided.
Here's what we're talking about: the Greek Freak and Luka Doncic. I'm going to go to you, Drew.
Well, am I going to get to answer? Or?
Okay, go ahead. Get to answer. You're gonna give me Norman Powell, right? Go ahead.
No, I mean, I know where you're going at. Obviously, the performance was incredible. Luka is playing like a man possessed, but I would still give it to Giannis because the overall body of work, his team is in, top 2 in the conference, if not in the league. And he's just the man, and he's unstoppable. I think he's more unstoppable than Luka.
So let me get back to Anthony here. I actually agree. I was starting up. I actually agree. But now for people who say, Harden had to step back, but he was traveling. For people who say the Greek Freak always travels, what do you say to that?
That's today's NBA. There's a gather step. They allow an extra hop. They allow everybody to carry the ball literally on every possession. So that's how the game has evolved. So you either accept it or stop watching, right? Like I think there was a clip where it shows John Morant, and every single time that he makes a hezzy or a crossover, his hand goes completely under the ball. And this is why I get into arguments with younger watchers because they say, look at the way Bob Cousy used to dribble like this. I'm like, yeah, because that was the rule. If you went to the side of the ball, it was a carry. Now you can go right under. So it's just different. So yeah, they travel on every play based on the old traveling, but that's not what they call today. The gather step alone gives them an extra step. So hey, that's basketball.
And when you see the Greek Freak come barreling down on you, and everybody is, can you help but not foul him? Right? It's an instant. If he is better free throw shooter, he would have 40 points a game.
He should let his ego and his pride get out of his way, much like Shaq should have done. Throw it granny style. Go from 64 to 80% and increase. Like, just think, he shoots 64. Giannis shoots 64% from. Imagine what that extra 16%. It'd probably be higher than 80%. Shoot it granny style. What do you care? You care about how you look, which is weird for him because he doesn't care when he plays tough defense. He'll get dunked on all the time. He doesn't care that if you're playing hard defense, you're gonna get dunked on. He doesn't care. So throw the granny. Just do it. Why not?
All right, Drew. So what do you say? And Anthony mentioned Morant. Where's John Morant in this conversation? Is he in the top 5?
Of course, certainly. I mean, you've seen what he could do, especially when Ja is not hurt. I mean, he's the most. I'd have to put him there as the most. And now Zion's starting to come back and catch up. But right now, he's the most electrifying player in the NBA. He's must-see TV. Runs off his mouth a bit too much. I don't like the whole talk with him and Dylan and those guys. Shut your mouth. You haven't done absolutely nothing in the NBA. and don't talk about dynasty. You know, the only real team that could talk right now about dynasty is the Golden State Warriors, and maybe a little bit, Milwaukee, because they've won and they've been consistently at the top of the league. But I don't want to hear no chatter from Ja, and I'm very disappointed because he has a chance to really capture the imagination of people. But when you get talk like, oh, we're okay in the West, no, you're not okay in the West until you vanquish the Denvers, even the Pelicans coming up, and the Golden State Warriors, the Suns. Until you vanquish them, keep your mouth shut. As for Giannis, I agree. Free throw shoot. I'm trying to look up his career. What's his career free throw percentage, guys? Because I believe he was a bit better. If he's down to 64 right now, I don't know what's going on there. And I don't know, as you said, Anthony, it doesn't look like with his form he's going to be able to be a regular 75 plus free throw shooter. If that's the case, it's going to be hard in this day and age. You're going to be made fun of. You're going to be a meme. You're going to be ridiculed left, right, and center. Every arena, they're going to be having people dressed up as grandmothers. It's going to be just a S-storm as you go. I love to see him do it and try it, but I don't see it happening. But again, the greatness of him is the play.
To answer your question, 71%, 71.3 for his career. The 64 is his second lowest. 1920, he was 63%. But other than that, 68% his rookie season, and then 74, 72, 77, 76, 73. So
he was up at 76.
He was up at 76, 77 for a couple of years. Yeah, 16, 17.
So I think right now it's got to be, he can be a 75, 80% shooter. It may be a mental thing, concentration. Obviously, I think his form has not been the best, his shooting form. He's not consistent from the three-point line. I think it's just something that he can work on. It may not happen, but I don't know how much he's working on it, and I hope he does, because if he gets to 80, 85, that puts him in the next stratosphere of greatness.
All right, and speak about the greatness. Denver Nuggets 7.
Are we just going to pass back? Are we just going to skip over him calling Ja top 5 player in the NBA?
Okay, you want to go ahead? Go ahead. You go here. I'll ask you this. Give me fluent top 5.
It's not top 5. I'm just thinking Embiid, Jokic, Doncic, and Antetokounmpo, Tatum, Curry, Durant. There's 7 guys better than Ja just off the top of my head.
You're right. Probably. Well, I'll give him top 10. I'll give him top 10.
Oh, now top 10.
You can't just speed right past that.
But the way he's playing, I'll be honest, man, he's playing like a top 5 player.
He's my favorite player to watch. I'm with you. He's my favorite player to watch. Absolutely.
Jokic.
Great points. Hey, we can't all be right. We can't all be right all the time. Sometimes we forget.
I've never been wrong in 2023 yet.
Hold on.
Okay.
But Drew, most importantly,
now you're more fluent.
See, that's it.
I need some of those sound effects, man. Now you're on point. I need one of those.
Let me know. We can make that happen.
Look it up, Anthony. Come on, man.
You got it. Next
episode. Talking, the mic here with On Point, On Location, on whatever. By the way, Anthony, didn't you say that On Point is rebranding into wine and everything like that? Don't you have a picture of that?
Do we want to give them a shameless plug?
I know. Well, it's On Joe Point. There's only one guy hugging On anybody, Point. Hoping that they'll give him some free wine. That's all.
Hey, listen, if that's gonna happen, I'll definitely give him a shout out to the your
Look at that. Look at that. On Point brand wine.
Look at that. And it's good too. On Point if you're looking
hold on. And look, Drew, it's orange. So maybe you got a little orange shirt there. Maybe you got On Point orange.
I don't go orange, brother. Red. Canada, baby.
Red. No. Joe, that's red, Joe. That's red.
That's
with the color distortion.
Yeah, I'm a little bit colorful.
Definitely red. Right. So On Point wine, we're here for you if you need if you're looking. We're accepting sponsorship.
We're 100%. And we're going to be on location. Tell us where to go. We'll be on location. We'll do the show from there.
I think you sit here just kind of with a little glass of wine, just having
I'm telling you, I'm reaching out to them. I've actually thought about that a couple of years ago. I need to find out who is a manufacturer, and definitely we got to do some collabos, man, for sure.
All right. So you mentioned Jokic, 7 feet tall. And this guy is consistently 35, 40 points. And do I have to tell you who back-to-back MVPs and everything like that has there been? I'll start off with Drew in this one. has there been not enough talk of Jokic? There's
Well,
talk of the Greek Freak. There's talk about Tatum. There's talk about Moran, but not enough talk about Jokic.
I agree. I think he gets overlooked, which is crazy when you think of it. I think maybe partially in the last couple of years, because Jamal Murray went down, Denver hasn't been that force that they were building up to be. So I think that's a part of the reason is they're not as thought of as a top team in the West. Now they are, but I mean they're not really looked at as, oh, we got to get through Denver. I think with Jamal getting healthier now, the Aaron Gordon, I mean, that dunk he did the other day was absolutely insane. The rest of the players on that team kind of really getting up their level. I don't think Joker does get enough. What was he, a second round draft pick? He doesn't get enough at all. And I don't know what it is. I have no idea. All I know is when I watch him, he's unstoppable and unguardable. I mean, his passing, he can shoot threes. He can find guys on the cut. He can score inside. The fadeaway, kind of a la Dirk, the fadeaway. He's just he's marvelous. Such a joy to watch. And to me, it's great for the league because it shows how much the league is, diversified and how much the European players that are coming over are able to really do damage against the American players and the rest of the players in the league. So I cheer him, love watching him. I'm not a huge fan of Luka's game per se. I'm a fan of Luka because he's incredible. Just the one-on-one ISO ball, I don't like. I prefer Joker where he gets the ball in the post. Guys are cutting. He's diming back and forth. He's kicking it out. He can score when he has to. I'm a bigger fan there. But Luka is a force that's going to be the MVP for sure.
Go ahead, Anthony.
You started off on Jokic, correct? That was the question you asked about Jokic.
Yeah.
Is he getting enough? Is he getting enough attention? I think he's not getting enough attention, but I think it's because most people understand there's no way, no chance, no how that the NBA gives him a third straight MVP.
No chance.
Right? It hasn't been done since Bird in the 80s. And listen, here's the funny part. I asked everyone who says he's not getting it for a third time in a row. They agree. And I asked the question, well, if he hadn't had any, if he didn't win the last 2 years, he's leading right now. He's leading in MVP votes right now if he hadn't won the other two, which is a scary thought to think, to Drew's point, a second round pick who has already really become, you might get some arguments from some old heads like me, but even I'm been like, nah, best passing big ever.
Yep.
Like I think he's there.
He's
like
there.
I think most I give him that crown. I said best passing big ever. There's
what was it? Sabonis before?
Sabonis might have been. Some people say, hey, Wilt led the league in total assists. I think he was second in per game. So he was pretty good, but he only did that, when they said, hey, you're scoring too much and you're greedy. So I'll show you. And he started passing, which means he had the ability to do it. But for a guy to rebound, assist, and score at the rate that Jokic is doing is phenomenal. Like the things we're starting to see from players that are 7 foot in terms of their ball handling skills, their passing, their shooting, it's phenomenal. That's why I love basketball so much. It's that evolution that we keep seeing, these different things. Like we went from the big man in the post to really guard perimeter play. We're living through the 3-ball era, but now you're starting to see some bigs doing a lot of things that they never did traditionally. So I think he's phenomenal. And I think the way he plays, though, it's not exciting. He's not fast. Right. He's not Giannis. Right. He's not dunking on people. He's not running up and down the court. He's not powerful. So it's not a brand of ball that we'll talk about. But for us kind of in the know, we'll watch and be like, wow, did you see what he just did there? Like that, there'll be a little shoulder move where he just draws the defender off and throws it the other way. And you're just like, that is amazing that he has the knowledge and ability to do that. So
his mind space, his IQ, is incredible. And it's actually, again, sorry to cut you, Joe, the evolution of the game. And I think one show, guys, we got to have a debate, because I have a huge debate going on in one of my chat groups about MJ. I say he's the GOAT. I've seen LeBron come through. I think LeBron is close. I think he needs to win at least 1 or 2 more titles in order for me to give him that. But he's close. And there's that argument. They say, well, Jordan was playing against plumbers and electricians. And then they say now the talent is so much. But then again, the game is changing that you can't breathe on guys no more. And imagine if Jordan had that open space that he didn't have back in the day. He might have averaged 60 a game. So I'd love to have let's do who's the GOAT
So
show
hold on
one day and bring in names.
Here's
Debate that.
2 points I'm gonna make. I'm gonna go start off with Anthony here. Okay, we'll touch on Jordan the next 2 seconds here. If I'm gonna ask you who in the NBA right now would guard Giannis, Jokic, Doncic, and all that, who can guard him instead of scoring 40 points, make him score 25? Who in the NBA could guard these guys?
Who in the NBA? What do you mean?
Who in today's?
In today's NBA, it has to be a little bit taller guy, lengthy guy, because you're talking
Who could guard who?
Who could guard who? Jordan?
I'm just saying, who can guard Jokic or the Greek Freak or Doncic? Let's say those are the best 3 or whatever.
Oh, you're saying in today's NBA, who can guard them?
Yeah. Let's see, you're thinking, because there's not a lot of people who can guard him. Sure, you can go Draymond Green, but he'll have 6 fouls in 10 minutes.
I think those guys, you said what? Luka, you said who else?
Jokic and Giannis.
Yeah.
I think they're all unguardable almost. I mean, the only thing with Giannis is he's not a great outside shooter. But the other two are pretty much, I don't think you can really stop Luka. If he misses a shot, he misses a shot. He does what he wants out there. And Joker as well. I mean, I haven't seen, even maybe Embiid is his toughest matchup. Other than that, he destroys every center that's in the league.
I'll probably get criticism for this, but I'll say this. I think there's a handful of guys that could guard them, in the sense that you said keep them from scoring, instead of scoring 30, scoring 25, right? Make it difficult for them. The problem is their emphasis isn't on defense, right? Like Embiid, if he said, hey, I'm not going to worry about the offensive end, I'm just going to shut down Jokic this game, he could slow him down significantly because he's athletic enough, he's long enough, he's tall enough, he can do it. If I don't want to say LeBron's like the easy one, but like if you think of any of those athletic kind of wings that and there's a lot of, their focus is on offense now. It's not on defense. And we see a lot of times,
who's been
OG Anunoby is another guy who could probably give those guys, like he could give Luka fits, pick him up full court, and it's just. But listen, we all know the team that scores the most points wins 100% of the games. So their focus is on offense, and they say, and we tell. You hear it. I'm taking a break on defense. I'm going to take the second or the third or the fourth best guy so I can get a break so I can be ready for that next offensive possession. So the question is kind of tough to answer because they're skilled to do it. There's perimeter defenders like Drew Holiday who can defend guards like really, really well. But it's, hey, let's focus on that offensive end. So I think there's some guys. There's defense. There's defense.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Dylan Brooks. You look at a guy like Luguentz Dort. I hate to say it.
Yeah, Dort,
two of the best defenders in the NBA are Canadian. You know what I mean? And it's to me, it's the effort too, Anthony. There's a lot of guys in the NBA have the ability to play two-way. And when I talk to a lot of the young players in Canadian basketball, when I'm at my circuits or on, I tell them, make your mark on both ends of the floor. That's how you're going to stay on the court. That's how you're going to get that scholarship. When you show that effort, you're willing to take a charge. You're willing to slide. You're willing to jump into the passing lane, move your feet laterally, communicate on defense. That's when you're going to find yourself on the floor at most. Now, as you said, the NBA is about scoring, and most guys aren't trying to be up George, who I respect massively. He kind of tapered off a bit the last year or two, but when he was in his prime, was there a better two-way defender? And you add in a guys like Anunoby, those wings that are out there, and people keep saying, I know I'm touching a few things, trade Anunoby. You don't find guys like OG Anunoby on trees. Like if you have a player like that, you keep him. And to me, when you hear all this chatter about Anunoby, I really don't even believe it. I think Masai knows how valuable a guy like that is. He knows.
I believe other people are calling. Right, that's where the smoke is, because I'm sure other people are calling.
They want him. Hell yeah!
He should be an all-defensive player. Absolutely, yeah.
All right,
I think we missed Kawhi too. Kawhi, when healthy, could probably be one of those guys too. But it's interesting. Is that I try to correct people all the time. offense is considered skill. Defense is considered effort.
Effort.
Although both can be, both are skills. Like you can
Yes.
get better at defense in terms of positioning and hands and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of skills that go into defense. But if you have no offensive skills and you just try really hard, you're not. It doesn't matter that you're trying really hard. If you have zero skill, you're not going to score the basketball. You're just going to run around, and you're not going to be a good offensive player. The beauty of defense is if you do lack skill on defensively, you can make up for that with effort. And so to your point, when you're talking to younger players, it's, hey, show us your skill on the offensive side. Yeah. Show me your effort on the defensive side. Because if I'm going to give a guy a scholarship, I need him to have both.
And you know what, Anthony? I also say to them, you guys are so good, you can score with your like blindfolded. Pretty much a lot of these the high prep level players, you can score at ease. But are you going to put that effort in, as you said, defensively? Because when a coach is looking at you, remember, the higher up you go, the less you're going to be able to show offensively what you can do. Unless you're like, a Ja or whoever, like the top scorers. But if you're a decent scorer, when you get to college, you have to play a role. If you want to get to the NBA, you have to play a role. You have to find 2 or 3 things that you can hang your hat on before you can even try to get a chance to shoot the ball. So remember that. You got to simplify and make the game easier. And that's what guys need to do, even in the NBA. Guys are trying to think that they could do what they did in college and high school. No. Hold on. These two guys
we get tricked. Yeah. We get tricked because in high school, all of us were the best players in high school.
Right.
Then we go to university, and if you're the best player on your university team, you probably make it to the NBA, maybe. Well, now you're less. The chances of you being the best person on that team go down significantly with every level you go up.
That's right.
Okay, so I got a couple final points before we close it out here. Now, I'm going to ask you quickly because I know if I ask this question, then Drew will be here till tomorrow, till the new year, all right?
You know me. You know me well.
So, Anthony, you'll start us off. What's harder to play, offense or defense?
Harder to play?
Great question.
Defense is harder to play.
You're the coach.
Defense is harder to play because it requires more effort.
All right, Drew.
I think it's mindset. I think it's effort. Yes, I think there's effort on both ends, but it's a mindset. Like for me, and again, this is what I point out when we have discussions all the time. And sometimes, I'm an old school guy. But my thing about basketball was this, and this is how we were taught. When I get on the court, not only do I want to score more than that person, but it's not even important to me as a point guard. My thing was, getting guys the rock. But I don't want my guy to score. So my pride when I got on the floor and when my guys that I played with and in our era was, it's lockdown. My guy is not scoring. If you need me to guard the center, I'll guard him. He's not scoring. So I think we've gone away from that. There's the and one mixtapes. Everybody wants a highlight on the offensive end. There's times when I'm doing my posts on my Instagram stories, and you'll see when I can get a defensive play in there, a block or a charge or something of that nature, I'll post that for the player and tag the player. I want that player to repost that because I think when a coach sees that, that's where the coach is going to be like, okay, this guy's actually putting in effort.
Not me, Joe. I just want to outscore the guy.
I knew you were going to say that. Only time Drew goes to outscore him is when he's drinking on point. When he's drinking on point. All right, 2 final things. You'd mentioned OG. The trade deadline is coming in about a month, February 4th or something.
Leave him alone.
Okay, so let's go to the Raptors right now. There's rumors that OG, that everybody, Fred VanVleet or whatever. I'll go with Anthony because Drew is going to give me a long-winded again. All right. So Anthony, here, you know the Raptors roster. Who do you think is the most probable guy being moved?
The most probable guy being moved is Fred VanVleet. I think that's the most probable one.
What about Gary Trent?
And can I finish?
Leave him alone with his answer. This is his answer. Do you have your own time? Come on.
And number 2 would be Gary Trent.
All right.
And the reason is the market for those guys, the market for a veteran championship caliber point guard, right? Like Memphis would love. No, not Memphis. New Orleans would love a distributor and a point guard like Fred VanVleet to make that final kind of push on their roster. Gary Trent, I've said this about the Raptors team, where he should be. Coming off the bench, he is a bucket. And so again, a championship contender team would love to have a six-man who can come in and just score. That's something that any team would want, but especially ones that want to make a deep run into the playoffs. I also think those are two of the guys. One, we know Gary Trent's opting out of his contract, or at least the rumor is he's going to opt out, and he's going to look for a big payday. I think he's set to make 18.6 next year, so he's looking for more. So that's a good opportunity for the Raptors to move on. I think same with Van Vliet. I think the Raptors are just moving in a different direction now. Unless they're going to trade everybody, which I doubt. I don't think they're going to do a complete rebuild like the Siakam and OG. I don't think those guys are going anywhere. So I think those two are the most likely on the Raptors roster to go.
All right, Drew, you got a minute.
Yeah, I agree. I think I personally, I wish Freddie was actually a bit more of a distributor. I find, when you got a guy that's scoring at times 39, 40 at the point guard spot, I think he needs to kind of adjust his game, especially for a team like Toronto that needs a guy that's going to find guys, get guys going, first of all, and then pick his spots to score. So I think you're right. It could be where they want to move him because he's smaller point guard as well. A lot of teams go on a bigger point guard. I love Freddie. I love his story. I love his effort. If you can get Freddie to be that distributor on a high level, which I think he's capable of, and then pick his spots, I think he could still be very effective here. But until then, no. And I think, again, Gary Trent, depending on the contract situation, what he's looking for, he's a guy that's movable. He's young, can shoot the lights out. I think for him going forward, he's that quandary. Do you want to be a two-way player? Because clearly he has the ability to be there.
All right, 2 minutes.
But let me just quickly on Fred VanVleet. In New Orleans, do you not think, because I agree with you, he has that ability to be a distributor. Do you not think he could be that guy's, hey, I got, when healthy, a BI and a Zion and hey, this makes sense for me to kind of be that guy? Because the pressure's not going to be on him to score. Where I feel in Toronto, he sometimes gets that I need to score. So he gets that mentality, which is great that he can turn it on. But it's like, actually, you probably would have been better off getting Siakam, getting Scotty Barnes, getting Gary Trent some open, easy shots, because it gets them going, and that's better. Like we've seen this team, Raptors specifically, when they move the ball, man, they look unstoppable. It's when it starts to get stagnant that they're very beatable.
And you know what? Just to point out, I've said that, and Joe, we've said this on the show. When you don't have a stud, and Siakam, you might say, okay, he's all NBA last year, whatever, but he's not a stud. So now your mentality as a team, to me, it's lacking with this team. They don't realize that. They think they're studs. They think they're scorers. And when they've had success, as you said, Anthony, is when they move the ball, become unselfish. And what happened to the defensive mojo? What happened? Now, obviously, the bigs, we've had some injuries. Cam is out. Precious is out. That's going to hurt you, obviously, your interior defense. But I still think as a group, this team has kind of thrown away that defensive hat because they're more worried about offense. When they get that mentality back, I think they can turn the season around. But if they don't get it back quick, guys, it's going to be a very, very bad season.
And let's be clear, those studs we're talking about, there's like 3, 5 in the league, right? Like there's not with a lot. There's probably 70 that think they are, but there's really like 3 or 5.
All right. So I mentioned we talked about Michael Jordan, LeBron, and all that. Unfortunately, we got 2 minutes. 2 minutes and a half. So I don't know if we should throw it in there, but I'll throw it in there.
We got to have a show for that. We got to
have
a
full we won't show. Throw it in. So here, next time, but I got a couple announcements. But before we get to the announcement, Anthony, tell everybody, because we got now millions and millions of new viewers and listeners. Tell everybody how they get more sports fluent.
Well, I'm going to give you 2 things because I really want to tell you something about this On Point wine that I just found out. So first off, for me, IG, Twitter, TikTok is sports_fluent. You can find the rest of my shows other than right here on Fired Up on Players Choice YouTube. On Point, Drew, this is for you. Mm-hmm. They're the Arterra wines out of the Niagara region here in Ontario. And they've done this On Point wine in collaboration with Weight Watchers Canada. This is a healthy, low-calorie wine. This is perfect for you.
No, wait a minute. Drew Ebank's never been on Weight Watchers. Look at him. Come on. Never mind. I shouldn't talk. All right.
Thanks, Anthony.
I got
Thanks
you,
for proving my point. I'm fat now.
I got you.
Welcome to 2023 soon, Drew. All right.
It's the resolution.
Again, we're proud. We're proud to have Anthony K here, getting more sports fluent. Check out all his programming and all that. Anthony has been a definite asset to the Fired Up Network, and hopefully in 2023 will be more of an asset and not take away the it. All right. So, so Drew Ebanks, you got 24-second shot clock. Go ahead.
You know where you can find me, onpointbasketball.com, onpointbasketball on Instagram, OPB Ball Events on Instagram if you want to find out what's going on. Drew Ebanks on Twitter and On Point Basketball on Facebook and YouTube as well. I got to really get on that wine. I think I bought it for people too, just as and they've laughed and stuff. So maybe we should reach out and try to do something with them. Hey, calorie conscious wine. I mean, there's hardly anybody doing anything like that as far as averages. So it's fantastic. Maybe we'll have some next time right here on the show.
Did you hear what he said, Anthony? He's got to get on the wine. All right, he's got to get on the wine. That's what he's going to do for New Year's.
Can't promote alcohol right here, though.
No, we're not condoning it. You just said it. I didn't say.
I know,
alcohol.
you're right.
All right, so here it is. I got major announcements here. Like I said, we got more viewers and listeners to the Fired Up Network. Also, I'm working, and it's very close. You guys saw that we had an exclusive. Like it was, he told me no other Canadian outlet did an interview with him. Dale Brown, the head coach of LSU. He is going to be on here. We're trying to make it weekly, if not for sure monthly. And he has promised me that we're going to have other collegiate coaches, starting with a guy from North Carolina and from Duke. And and a guy who we know very well. His name's Stormin Norman. I'm trying to get Jim Boeheim, but Norm Rumack is barred from doing that show, because that show will put me to sleep if Norm Rumack will be on it. All right? That's number one. So we got special things coming up here on the Fired Up Network, and these two are going to be a huge, huge part, because you know why, Drew? We're fluent, and we're on point and on location. And Drew, you know what? I'm going to ask you, you're a man of the team. You kick up the jams. You do everything. What are you doing for New Year's Eve? I know you're drinking On Point, but what else?
I'm gonna have to pick some up yet. I'm actually still trying to figure it out. Maybe dinner with the lady, and then probably just relax and chill. Sometimes I've gone to like smaller house parties, things like that. If I know somebody's having something at their place and they invite us, I'd love to do that because I love to be around people. But it's probably going to be a nice, easy, chilled night. And then I got Monday off, so relax for a day, and then it'll be back to business right after that. So I might as well enjoy the next few days. I'm working though. I got my day job today and tomorrow.
Anthony, did he say he's going to be more fluent and chilled? Is that what
I think that is what he said. Yeah, which is tonight at 9 p.m. on the Players Choice Network. Join us for Fluent and Chill.
There you go. The shameless plug.
No wonder me and Anthony have good chemistry here. All right, Anthony,
yeah, you do.
What are you doing for New Year's?
I much like kind of what Drew enjoys. We are going to have a small. You're going to
be on location, right?
Intimate affair at a little house party. What's that?
I love that.
Drew is on point on location. You're going to be on location at a house party.
I am going to be on location at a house party. Absolutely.
Right. So I want to wish everybody out there, to you guys and everybody, all the.
What are you doing?
What am I doing? I may be proposing.
Oh my goodness! What?
Look at Anthony, please. That's right. Give me a bunch of woos. Come on, give me a bunch of woos, man.
He's on board.
How do you, Anthony? I got to ask you this. You're famous for Greek, but how do you say, "Will you marry me" in Greek?
Oh my.
Well, okay. You start with first the "I love you," so "Sarapao."
Hold on, Drew. Come on, repeat.
Write it down, Joe. Write it down.
You know that part. You must know that part.
You don't know. I want Drew to repeat. So, how do you say "I love you" again?
Sarapao.
Sarapao.
Yeah, you got it. All right. Thelo the pandriftume. That means I would like to marry you. Yes.
Go ahead, Drew. Repeat that.
The Pandeftume.
Celos the Pandus Tulis. That was hard.
Drew, first of all, you asked
guys
me to
got the
marry you.
TH
The
going
answer
on
is
there.
no. No, all right, Drew? I'm not going to marry you, all right? That's the answer you asked me. All right, stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. Again, Happy New Year to Drew and to Anthony and to all the fans and families of On Point Basketball and Fluent. And again, these two are going to be a huge part of the Fired Up Network. Any last comments, Drew?
Man, just I'm so happy always when I see our Canadians doing well. Marcus Carr of Texas, 41 points. That's the most points scored by the Longhorns in, I think it was 1996. So what is that? 28 years. He's a guy to watch out for the NBA. I call him a mini James Harden doing his thing. And another one, AJ Lawson. I just recently interviewed him at the 905 game for the Skyhawks. He got picked up by the Dallas Mavericks on a two-way contract. They're got some injuries, and I think AJ at 6'7", a lights-out shooter, athletic. I think you're going to see him have some time. And it's funny, I was looking at the night Luka scored the 60 and they beat the Knicks. AJ was actually there for that game. He was on the roster. He was in the warm-ups and everything. So we just keep proving the world, like Canada, we're a force in basketball, and it's great to see.
And by the way, Anthony, Drew failed math. It's not 28 years. 1996 is not 28 years.
26.
All right.
Okay, 26. Give me a break.
All right.
I'm old.
All right, Anthony, any final comments?
I just say congratulations, hopefully, to the future Mr. Papadopoulos.
Hey!
Well, there you have it. Drew Ebanks, Anthony K, Sports Fluent on NBA Jump Ball. And I'm going to take a few seconds here before we're going to be joined by a special guest to talk about the passing of the GOAT, greatest of all time, Pelé. For those people who don't know, Pelé passing away today at the age of 82. Pelé is like the equivalent of Wayne Gretzky in the soccer world, playing for Brazil, winning 3 World Cups. The World Cup just finished, Argentina winning it. Before there was Maradona, before there was Messi, before there was Ronaldo, there was Pelé. Pelé, in my eyes, and I'm a little bit old to witness him, Pelé was the best soccer player ever in professional football, like they say, soccer. Again, passing away at the age of 82. And we're going to have Carmen Asako in just a couple seconds to talk about that. And don't forget Carmen, John Freeman Nelson, and hopefully Giancarlo Lino with myself will be on the soccer show tomorrow, talking more about Pelé, talking about the World Cup and everything like that. Now, just a scoreboard update. The Thursday Night Football is underway. The Dallas Cowboys lead the Tennessee Titans 7-0. Dallas is wearing their new white helmets, by the way. The Raptors are trailing the Memphis Grizzlies heading to halftime, and at 9 p.m., the Maple Leafs are in Arizona to take on the Coyotes. Morgan Riley will be dressed for the Maple Leafs coming back from an injury. And don't forget, the Maple Leafs are in the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions Saturday, New Year's Eve in Colorado. All right. And by the way, Drew said he's just going to be chilled. And, Anthony said he's going to be chilled. I said I may be proposing. I'm wondering, if I propose, will the lady say yes? Maybe we should get her on the show here to see if she says yes or no. With my luck, probably it's maybe. All right? It's probably a maybe. I don't know how to say maybe in Greek and maybe, but we'll see. But anybody, send in a message. What are you guys doing for New Year's Eve? It's a Saturday night. It's going to be pretty hot for a New Year's Eve, but it's going to be raining. They say here in Toronto, where we're based out of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, it's going to be 11 Celsius. That's about 52 for a New Year's Eve. I don't remember when it's 52 Fahrenheit for a New Year's Eve at all, but hopefully 2023 will be a better year than 2022. And 23 is Michael Jordan. Let's make it an iconic year. And yes, I will tell you this right now. No joking, no anything like that. If everything goes right, the president of the provinces of Canada, the mayor elect of North America, will be going down on one knee in 2023. Book it, bank it, whatever you want to say. If everything goes right, he will go down on one knee in 2023. You know, the president of the provinces of Canada, he's iconic. He's a mayor elect of North America. He's a rebel. Just hopefully everything goes well. I want to also say something right here since it's the holiday season. Christmas, Hanukkah just passed. New Year's Eve on Saturday, Sunday, New Year's 2023. We're just waiting for Carmen Asako here. Hopefully, Carmen will join us. If not, I'll throw it to another Hall of Famer, John Freeman Nelson, giving the preview of Week 5 in the National Lacrosse League. I just want to say here, through COVID, through this year, through last year, and all that, hug the loved ones. Don't forget your loved ones. Don't forget your mother, your father, your son, your daughter, grandma, grandpa, sister, brother, aunt, uncle. I don't know if I missed anybody, because in a second, in a real second, they can be gone anytime, and you don't say goodbye. And that can haunt you for the rest of your life. So it's the holiday season, and just be good to the people, who really are your heart and soul. Okay. And never forget, we were put on this world because of all this stuff that, shootings and crimes and everything like that. We're people, man. And just be kind, be respectful, and always give a helping hand, especially this time of year, to the people who need it most. And, and I'll get personal here. Unfortunately, can't see my uncle who's in a home. Remember, even though they don't know or they don't remember or whatever, the presence is your present for the holiday season. All right. So again, that's 2022. A year started off with Mr. Orange there. All right. And 2023, let's hope it's a better year for everybody. Looking back over the last, I was telling this to John off air, over the last 3-4 years, this day before, and everything like that, we have lost, John Madden, Johnny Bauer, and now Pele. And now we're joined by Carmen Asako to talk about the great Pele here. Carmen, first of all, thank you for joining on late wise. We'll be back here with John, myself, Giancarlo tomorrow. But Carm, here we go. We sort of expected this with Pele. He was in hospital and everything like that. In my eyes, and I know you a long time, in my eyes, he was the best footballer, soccer player in the world, equivalent to Wayne Gretzky. What would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a group of players that he's in the top 3 for sure as far as impact of the game, as far as all those things that should matter, the important things. And he always kept to the integrity of the game. He's one of those players that always turned down the big things, like as far as always staying in Brazil to play most of his professional career, other than a North American Soccer League, where he played with a very good friend of mine as well, Robert Yarushi, with the Cosmos. And
yeah,
and he was the first incredible icon of the game that we can all remember. Obviously Maradona Others came after him, and most recently the icon legend of Messi came through. But all these people wouldn't exist without Pele and without what he did for the game. And I think that as far as the world's most popular sports concerned, when you equate popularity and when you equate the game and you equate the integrity of the game and everything right about the game, the first person you talk about is Pele for sure.
And Pelé, I would say he was the first world star, because let's face it, I equate it to Wayne Gretzky, but hockey in the global world, nobody knows about hockey there, okay? But when you look at Pelé or Michael Jordan, people know Michael Jordan throughout the world. Pelé throughout the world, and let's put it another way. He came to North America, right? He came and experienced it, and now there was some talk. Now it's not going to happen of Messi coming to Miami and all that. It's great seeing all these guys, but Pelé set the standard. And let's face it, also when you look at Cristiano Ronaldo, what is he? 6 feet, 6'1". Messi a little bit smaller, but Pelé wasn't that tall, wasn't that big.
Yeah, I mean, and then he did it without TV, and you're talking 1958. And he filled stadiums in the 70s in the National North American Soccer League, which was pretty much unheard of because of just he reached the world in ways that we never thought could. He was just one of those stories that everyone has. My dad talked about old World Cups, he always talked about Pele, or anyone talks about the World Cup, or when I talk to my older friends, Carmen Marcantonio, Robert Yarushi, it was always Pele that made the difference. Pele that was not only the motivating factor, but a pillar of growing the game everywhere. And you don't put things in perspective. He did this without TV pretty much. Now, we're not only talking internet or social media. We're talking about without TV. Reach was global in the most genuine sense. Even Jordan. Everyone watched the NBA finals all over the world. But it was kind of legends are made from storytelling, and this story of a legend was always based on Pele, and his legend just grew and grew with every story, word of mouth. From especially in Canada. I mean, growing up in Portuguese communities or Brazilian communities or Italian communities, this is the only way we grew the legend of Pele. And obviously, this isn't just legend by storytelling; it's legend by proof. And he, like you said, he was the first global athlete of our time. Obviously Jesse Owens and people of that ilk. But I mean, and it wasn't that Pele was never a political figure as well. He was just Pele. He was just the soccer superstar that was the embodiment of everything the game was about. So sad days, but I mean, obviously he goes leaving what every player and every country that soccer is their national sport should just relish, and he left an incredible legacy that is what the World Cup is today.
All right, I'll let you go there, Carm. You hopefully we'll be back tomorrow morning, talking more about Pele, talking about the world of soccer. But since this is the flagship show, Carmen Asako, you're the man of the people. You party all the time. Like we saw, Drew Banks has wine now on point and everything like that. What are you going to do for New Year's Eve?
Well, I just sat down for a movie, Pitch Perfect 2. You ever see that movie, Pitch Perfect 2?
Yeah, can you sing like them or what? Come on.
I think I can, but
Okay. Want to do a duet here or what?
what was the category?
Give me a song. Come on. Give me a song. Let's do a duet.
Let's do simple. Let's do late 80s
Wait,
superstar.
wait, hold on, Carm. You're
I'll start.
acting like Like you're the youngster here. You're about 50 years older than me. Come on.
I find a woman like that, like Jesse's girl.
These
Da,
girl. What about Brian Adams? Jimmy quit. Joey got married. Come on, you know that. Come on, we should have a new show here. Me,
da.
you. Go ahead.
It was the summer of '69.
16. Yeah, don't say that number now. Okay, we're on air here. Don't that number is like could get you in trouble. All right, could
I
get
heard it
you
was
in trouble. All right. You're gonna be back here tomorrow. I see the York sweater. Anything new happening with your teams, men and ladies for York?
no. I'm trying to get them to understand the magnitude of what Pelé was and what he brought to our game, and hopefully they understand that one day, that if it wasn't for Pelé and soccer in general and the ambassadorship, that we would never be where we are.
All
And
right.
fighting for what he started in this game.
Your good friend Marty Roberts chimed in here. Ask Carmen what he got for Christmas. So Carmen, Marty Roberts wants to know. Did I maybe you know Marty Roberts? I don't know. Did Marty Roberts get you anything for Christmas?
No, Marty didn't get me,
Cheapskate Marty.
but I did get a lot of chocolate almonds. So
Chocolate almonds.
yeah, one just melted, to be honest. So I got chocolate over my hand. So I think I should go now. And the kids,
Is that Ferrero Rocher or Bocce?
regular chocolate almonds.
Oh, really? All right. Save me some for tomorrow morning. Thank you again, and we'll talk to you tomorrow morning.
Have a good night,
All
sir.
right.
I
Thanks
expect.
a lot, Carm.
All right. There, Joe.
Bye, sir.
Bye, sir.
All right, that's Carmen Asako with his thoughts on the late great Pelé, who passed away today at the age of 82. Carm, I know you're watching. Go eat some almonds, save me for tomorrow morning. All right, and get some bocce. You're Italian, get some bocce there, and we'll have a party with John Freeman Nelson, Giancarlo. Giancarlo brings the wine, and we'll celebrate the life of Pelé. All right. So we go from one Hall of Famer in Carmen Asako to another Hall of Famer in John Freeman Nelson, who, we usually did this every week here, every week on the Fired Up Network. We do Outside the Box. Well, this is the season premiere of Outside the Box. Hey, everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to outside the box for the first time this season with John Freeman Nelson. We were busy. We were busy with the World Cup of Soccer, with OSG Sports covering it and Fired Up Network covering it. We got some guy who continuously bothered me, Carmen Asako.
Carmen Asako.
Yeah, Carmen Asako, who never gave us Nino D'Aversa, not even for Christmas.
D'Aversa.
Yeah, Nino D'Aversa. First of all, whenever you come to Toronto, we got to go take you to Nino D'Aversa. All right.
Nino D'Aversa, exactly.
So now we're week 5, if you can believe it, week 5 in the National Lacrosse League this week. But what's your favorite saying? Before we look ahead, we got to look back, right?
Look back before we go forward.
And we're not going to go 5 weeks, but here I'm going to go in the Eastern Division. Halifax 2-0. Rochester 3-0, maybe a surprise there. Albany 1-1, Buffalo 1-1, Philadelphia 1-1, The Rock 1-2, Georgia 0-2, and Adopt 0-2. In the West, Calgary 2-0, San Diego, Panther City 2-1, Saskatchewan 1-1, Colorado 1-1, Las Vegas Desert Dogs 0-2, and Vancouver 0-3, but nobody cares about in Vancouver, all right? So,
wow.
Come on, Vancouver, they barely care about hockey. Bruce Bruno, shout out to you, all right? So let's look at what has surprised you thus far and what, Vancouver, like I mentioned, 0-3, and let's look at the Desert Dogs, okay? Wayne Gretzky own and other people own it and all that. How has lacrosse taken in Las Vegas, John, in your estimation?
I mean, you look at it was the game that the 4-letter down here started their broadcast schedule with. And, when you have the kind of impact that you can have with a team in Las Vegas. And obviously, you've got to temper expectations. I know we've done in years past. We talked about teams like Panther City, where you're trying to assemble a team and hit the ground running and all these kinds of things. And it took Panther City a while in their first season to get to full song. I'm anticipating the same with the Desert Dogs. I mean, you come out of the blocks 0-2, not necessarily a surprise that happened, but when you have that home opener back on the 16th, and you have all of this anticipation and expectation and things like that are a part of it, you're really looking forward to a successful season. But I think if you look at it in wins and losses, it's going to take a while. You've got guys like Garrett McIntosh on defense. You've got Marshall King as one of your forwards. Rob Hellier, who we've had on the past, is one of your forwards. Tyson Rowe on defense. John Phillips Samforth, Jacob Rouet at forward. You've got Barkley, Emerson Clark, Jack Hanna as a part. Connor Kirst is one of your transition players. Eric Turner in transition. Landon Kells in net. So there are some names that are recognizable to folks in lacrosse if you follow it. But the idea of hitting the ground running, if you're Sean Williams, who is right now head coach and GM, Ken Millen, the OC, trying to get things squared away, Rob Williams, also a part of it is your DC. It's going to take a little while for things to get to full song. So don't be surprised out of the blocks if it takes a little while for Vegas to kind of to hit the ground running, as we say, and in their first game at home, it was against Panther City. They only scored 3 goals. They lose 9-3 out of the blocks. It's going to take a while. So I think that if you're a fan of Las Vegas, go support the team, understand that it's going to be a growth curve and that things will be better as you get later in the year.
And usually when you give up 9 goals, you most likely win in lacrosse. 9 goals is pretty good. You give up 9 goals, you probably win 11-9, something like that. So now the other side, for people who don't know, and maybe I'm breaking news here, Toronto, Hamilton, Rock. No more Hamilton Rock. They're going to be thrown out of the building at formerly Cops Coliseum, First Ontario Center now, because they're going to renovate. So now you may ask, where? Where? Like I sound like the New Day. Who? Where?
Who is going to house the Rock of the Golden Horseshoe? Who?
I don't think they're going back to Scotiabank Arena, but I do think they're going to Brampton, former home of the Brampton Battalion. In fact, Brampton is the sort of center of the hockey universe for women hockey, Women World Hockey Championship happening in April. I think look out for an announcement regarding Toronto, Hamilton, Brampton.
Okay.
If I'm wrong, they may go back to the Air Canada or Scotiabank Arena in Toronto. So that means Toronto Rock. Before it was the Rock of the Golden Horseshoe. Before it was the Hamilton Rock. Now maybe the enough with this already. And I feel so bad for the Toronto Rock. The Toronto Rock here, were a staple. Maple Leaf Gardens, or now Manamy Center,
Right.
Scotiabank Arena, Air Canada Center, staple. They had 10, 7, 10, 12, 15,000. And now they moved to Hamilton thinking they're going to get Saturday night's games. They played one season during COVID. One season, we're in COVID, we're out of COVID, and now they're thrown out. For 2 years, it looks like. For 2 years.
Yeah.
So now they got to find a new home. And, in Brampton, I don't know. Maybe they find it in London. But from what I hear, and, I have sources all over the place.
Sources.
Yes, sources. Brampton is the place they may house the Toronto Rock, or is it Brampton Rock or whatever. But that's again something new from the National Lacrosse League that they have to deal with all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. And since this is our first show of the year, they also have a new commissioner. All right. So Nick Sakevich is gone. He did a great job. Now they want to build it. So let's hope we see better things for the National Lacrosse League. Now we get to week 5. John, so far, I think your record is perfect. You did not win any.
So is yours.
Well, I'm Mr. Perfect. I take over after Kurt Henning. I'm the president of the provinces of Canada. Now, John, I don't know if you know this, right?
Yeah.
I'm the new mayor-elect of North America.
The MNA. So the mayor-elect. So you're the MENA. Okay, I get it.
And hold on, you mentioned the 4-letter network, okay?
Uh-huh.
Now I just posed a 3-letter network, FUN, Fired Up Network.
Okay.
Fired Up Network in
I was gonna say,
conjunction.
careful now. When you said
Yeah,
F, I'm like, wait a minute.
I know, but in conjunction with OSG Sports, I want everybody, because we're going to get millions and millions of new listeners and
And
watchers now.
millions. Yes.
Yeah, tell everybody about OSG Sports before we begin.
It's two separate elements to it. OSG Sports is everything that is not soccer related when it comes to everything that we cover down here in the United States. It's college football, and college football is our big base, and then we go and cover pretty much anything that's college athletics or anything like that. Anything that is not soccer goes to the OSG Sports side of things, and the college football X, or the college football X, when it comes to everything. Right now, you can catch that early in the week on your favorite platforms, whether it's audio or video. But on the soccer side of things, as you kind of see here in Office HD, Soccer Down Here Daily Radio with myself, Jarrett Smith, Nick Alifi, Cast 1000, starting at 9:05 in the morning. That is live on Twitch at twitch.tv/Soccer Down Here, but it's also available for a podcast later on your favorite podcast platforms. And so, Soccer Down Here app available iOS and Android. OSG Sports app available iOS and Android, and you can follow along all day long with both of the channels on the network.
All right, so that's OSG Sports now, and we're proud to be affiliated with OSG Sports, and only Hall of Famers,
Yeah.
work at OSG Sports. You're looking at him right now, Hall of Famer. No, not the scarves. All right, not the scarves. All right, let's get to Week 5 of the National Lacrosse League. Halifax into Buffalo on Friday at 7:30. Go ahead.
Halifax, they've doubled basically their opposition in their first two matches. Outscoring teams 38-19, and they've really gotten off to a hot start. And you look at what you're able to do. I mean, averaging 18 goals a game in your first two games. You look at goals, and it's Ryan Benesh, who is second in the league with 8. Connor Fields will get to Rochester. Connor Fields right now leading the Planet in goals with 12. Curtis Dixon with 9 goals for San Diego. Ryan Benesh, a part of the balanced effort that we see out of Halifax right now. Cody Jamieson. So you've got Benesh and Jammer as your 1 and your 2. And, Jamieson right now is 5th in the league in assists with 10. But you always go into Buffalo. You go into Buffalo, and it is traditionally a very, very tough place to play. And with travel woes and issues and things like that, I think Buffalo gets this one. I think it's probably in that 15-13 range. I think the Buffalo, always traditionally tough at home, bringing everybody back from last year. I'm going to go with the Bandits in that one.
By the way, Buffalo Airport just opening up, by the way. There was a question about this game, but they are going to play it in Buffalo. And Halifax, you mentioned, they've been on a roll. But like you said, when you go to Buffalo, and you usually, the only team that wins is the Toronto Rock. So I'm going with Buffalo also. I'm going 15-10. Now, at 9 p.m. on Friday, the game of the year thus far, 2-0 versus 2-0, San Diego versus Calgary. Go ahead, John.
Calgary's only given up 14 goals in their first two games, and San Diego's more of that 50-50 approach. They're at +2 in their goals for goals against, but I think that travel, once again, will probably end up being the be-all, end-all here. I'm picking another high-scoring game. I'm thinking 16-14. I think San Diego gets it done at home.
You know what? I don't want to agree with you all the time. We're going to have a very bad end of year, but I have to agree with you. San Diego has something special. Remember, our studios was in San Diego. By the way, everybody who wants to know, the studio has now moved to Vegas. So, John, anytime we were in Vegas, all right?
Okay.
So, that I don't know if you know that, but that's breaking news to you, all right? I moved from San Diego to Vegas, but I agree with you. And the last game of the week is Saturday, December 31st, 8 p.m., Panther City, Saskatchewan. what a time for New Year's Eve in Saskatchewan. I don't know have you ever been into Saskatchewan, but New Year's Eve in Saskatchewan is like partying in 1999, where you didn't know if it's going to be alive, the Y2K and everything, or Y2J, Y2K, Y2E, Y whatever. All right. And what a party it's going to be when Saskatchewan rolls over them 12-8.
Yeah, I got Saskatchewan in this one too. Party over, oops, out of time for Panther City. And I think that once again, you get into travel, you get into the ideas of playing at home. Saskatchewan right now, they've only given up 19 goals in their first 2 games. Panther City has given up 26. And remember, you're looking at 3 games, and only 3 of those were scored by Vegas in Vegas's home opener. So you look at the other 2 games, they've given up 23 goals. That's averaging 11 and a half on average outside of the game against Vegas. And so I've just got to go with Saskatchewan here with better defense and travel issues and having to go from the Metroplex all the way to Saskatoon. That is not a direct flight unless you're flying charter. And man, if you're flying charter from the Metroplex to Saskatoon, you really got it made. But I'm going to go with Saskatchewan. I'm going to go with a rush here, 10-8, heading into the new year in Saskatoon.
All right, and speak about that new year. We got seven games next week, and we'll touch it hopefully next week. But that's going to be week 6, week 5. Going to be in the books there, John. On behalf of myself and everybody here on Fired Up Network and Fem, I just want to wish you, your wife, and your family best of the season. Happy New Year. May 2023 be the best year yet, and may we be like an icon. Michael Jordan's number 23, and have an iconic year. At least a couple more zeros would be nice.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Same to everybody up there north of the border. It's always fun to break down the world of sports here at Fun, the Fired Up Network, because that's what it's all about. We'll catch up with you next time as we get ready for the first week of full play in 2023.
All right, that's John Freeman Nelson. And John, tell everybody how to get a hold of you once again.
Easiest way on the Twitters is at OSG Nelson on the Twitters, as you see right there at the bottom of the screen. That's the easiest way to get in touch with me directly. At OSG Sports, don't forget to download the OSG Sports app, available iOS and Android.
Thanks a lot, John.
Anytime, my friend.
That was John Freeman Nelson, second go around this time with Outside the Box, and it's back. That was our season premiere. And I once again thank you, late addition to Carmen Asako, discussing the passing of the GOAT, greatest of all time, Pelé. You'll see more of Carmen, more of John, and hopefully Giancarlo Lino tomorrow on the world famous, like Marty Roberts says, world famous soccer show. Now, to conclude the flagship show of the Fired Up Network, Fired Up Live, I got Samantha Walters. For those who don't know, Samantha was a part of the Fired Up Network. We did something called Lavish, talking about entertainment. We were living the lavish lifestyle. Well, I was. Sam now upscaled to living the lavish lifestyle there. Here is Samantha Walters and myself on Lavish. Hey everybody, this is Joseph Pasek, and welcome to the Fired Up Network. Welcome to Fired Up Live. Welcome to the returning small edition of Lavish with my good, close, personal, long-time friend. We haven't done this in like 4 years. Samantha Walters. All right, Samantha, first of all, how was your Christmas? I didn't get a Christmas present for you. Hanukkah and Christmas present. Where is it already?
Joe, thank you so much for welcoming me back with open arms. My Christmas
My arms
was
are not open. They were crossed. See, like they're crossed. They're not open.
Joe. Yeah, my Christmas was great. I'm so happy to see you. I think this has definitely been the highlight of my entire year, seeing Joe. For everybody who watches Joe every day, trust me, you don't know what you have until it's gone. Believe me when I say that. So I'm definitely enlightened and super excited to be here. My Christmas has just gotten a whole lot better though. But how was it Hanukkah?
First of all, since the last time we talked, I'm the president of the provinces of Canada. You did a voiceover for me. We're going to get to that. But now we're entering 2023 in a couple days. I am now the elected mayor of North America. It's a big, big role. It's a big role. Look, all right, Sam, enough of this crap. All right, let's get down to the lavish lifestyle. By the way, I watched the Whitney Houston movie on Tuesday night. Yes, cheap night. I took my girlfriend there. Shout out to Patricia. You want to say anything to Patricia?
Hi,
No.
Patricia. I hope you had an amazing Christmas. I'm super glad that you're doing well and that you're doing
All right, this is not
amazing.
about the Patricia show. This is lavish. All right, lavish. Now, did you watch the Whitney Houston movie? I want to dance
Oh
with
my goodness,
somebody.
Joe, I cannot believe you watched that Whitney Houston movie without me and before me. Absolutely
Wait a minute.
no
Hold on. Hold on.
exception.
Before you and after you, like you get confused. You aren't you 29 and holding?
Oh my goodness, Joe. Still trying to figure out my age here.
No, no. I know your
Absolutely.
age. I know your age.
And okay,
It's a
this is
little
why
bit
I
more
do
than
not tell Joe your age. He will rat it out all
no, no. I know
over.
your age. But listen, this Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody. Let me tell you, it was really, really good.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
What was your favorite? So you did watch the entire thing. So what was your favorite scene of the movie? Was there anything that kind of sparked any interest or kind of like spoke to the actual movie for some people who have seen the Whitney Houston movie with the bodyguard or anything like that? Was there anything
Yeah,
that
first of all, I give a shout out again to future wife. Okay, future wife, Patricia. Okay, future wife. Hopefully, she'll be able to see this and all that. Second of all, the music. I was really, really touched. I don't know if you know this, but I like the Buffalo Bills. Okay, I like the Buffalo
Mm,
Bills. If you remember, January 25th, 1991. What were you, like 4 years old? All right. January 25th, 1991, in Tampa, the big sombrero. Think about a sombrero, like what that was the stadium. Whitney Houston sang the national anthem prior to the Super Bowl between the Buffalo Bills and New York Giants. That national anthem was the best national anthem ever, ever, ever. And it reminds me, it was the Bills and the Giants. Bills losing because Scott Norwood 48-yard field goal went wide right. Okay, forget about that. February 12th, 2023, in Arizona, 4 days after my birthday. All right, Sam. I'm waiting for my Hanukkah present, my Christmas present, my birthday present, and everything like that. All right. So 4 days after, February 12th, the Buffalo Bills will be the Super Bowl champion this year, and we will be partying like it was 1999, if you will, Dusty Rhodes. All right. So listen, that when they did that national anthem, I had a tear in my eye. I had many tears in my eye. I'm an emotional guy. In that movie, it was really emotional. Okay, I'm really upset that they didn't play Whitney Houston. They got somebody else to play. First of all, Whitney Elizabeth Houston. Did you know her name was Elizabeth?
absolutely not.
See, those are things that you go to the movie. By the way, Sam, I urge you to go check out that movie, and especially on Tuesday because it's cheap movie night. All right, cheap movie night, great movie. You could watch that and all, but you want to watch what's that movie? Antonio Banderas. That movie. I don't want to get in trouble, but Puss in Boots. You want to watch that movie, right?
Absolutely. There's lots of movies that have now came out for the new year, which I'm super excited about.
You
Puss in
want
Boots is
Avatar?
definitely
You
on
want
my top.
Avatar? Who you going to go?
Puss in Boots is definitely on my top list, but I was just about to get to the Avatar with the Way of Water. I am super excited. I know they said that somebody had a heart attack during the 3-hour movie, but I'm not too sure if that was due to the movie, but you know what? I am super excited to definitely see that and to see Puss in Boots and to see the Whitney Houston movie. Lots of them
Hold
coming
on,
out.
you're a
Even
cheapskate. You're not going to go to 3 movies, all right? You're a cheapskate. You haven't brought me my Hanukkah, Christmas, and
Joe,
birthday
a
present.
part of living the lavish lifestyle is taking the chance that you never thought you would take. It's about shifting your mindset and being able to say, you know what? Instead of saying do it later, now is later. So I definitely,
Okay, hold
tomorrow's
on,
not
hold on, hold
guaranteed. We
on.
might as
The
well live
movie,
that now.
Whitney Houston movie.
Joe,
is
you know what? Due to you saying that, I'm going to book us a ticket for tonight for us to go watch a movie that you haven't
I'm
seen.
doing
We're
a
gonna
show. I can't do it tonight. All right.
Why not, Joe?
I can't. First of all, I'm a one-woman man. All right. I have
Oh
eyes
no,
and a
guys.
ring
This is
and
what I
everything.
was scared of. Now Joe is completely occupied and just not available.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
gonna
not
make me
available.
cry
Yeah,
on
yeah,
air.
cry. I want to see your fake tears. Cry. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Wasn't that Whitney Houston's? Never mind.
Oh,
All right.
speaking of candles, Bath and Body Works has been handling a
Hold
sale.
on. What is this? First of all, don't put Bath and Body Works out there until they sponsor this lavish lifestyle.
Well, they should sponsor us for Hanukkah. And I
Hanukkah's
think
over. Did you play your harmonica? Did you put on your yarmulke? Did you sing to the Seattle Sonica?
oh my goodness.
All right, listen. It looks like you are living the lavish lifestyle. Last time you were on here, you had a gray screen and everything like that. It looks like you moved on up. Did you get a new house with the money that I'm paying you?
Joe, I definitely moved on up, and I realized that it was
You live
all
with George Jefferson?
Who told you? Who told you?
Easy.
Mr. Jefferson and I, it's private.
Should I open the can and say you go after older gentlemen, like 75 and older? Is it 85? Never. What is that? Better be ginger ale. They're not some.
It is ginger. Oh my goodness, Joe, how'd you know? Can you see the? Oh, you can't see the fizzies, but it is ginger ale.
Are you sure? You know we're a couple days away from New Year's. You got any big New Year's plans?
A lot of people have been hitting me up about New Year's, and I was
All right, hold
planning
on. That's not the truth. A lot of people. How many people would you say? A lot of people, like 2 or 3?
Joe, you know me so well. That's a lot.
So that your sister and who else?
Oh my goodness, Joe. No, but I'm going to be going to New York this New Year's, which is my first time going to the States.
Hold on.
It's Buffalo.
Put the brakes on. You're telling me you're going to New York, Ontario? There's no way you're going to New York for New Year's. That's expensive. Are you? Listen.
Well, it's not New York. It's Buffalo, New York, but I'm hoping that they have a lot of buffalo chicken wings. I'm hoping, Joe, that it's called Buffalo because of their buffalo chicken wings. I'm hoping that they have a lot of that. I'm going to be so disappointed if there is no buffalo wings in Buffalo. So please, Buffalo, if you are listening, please get those wings ready. I'm ready to try your buffalo sauce. Just like I'm hoping if there's Philly steak there, same thing with Buffalo. I'm super excited. This is my first time going to the States. I've always went to Niagara Falls and looked over the border, but I'm hoping those plans go through. If not, I'll be going to parties on New Year's.
Parties? Well, who's going to invite you to parties in Buffalo? Buffalo, there's nothing happening in Buffalo.
You're
Buffalo,
right. I'll be home lighting a candle and drinking ginger ale, everyone. Cheers to the New Year's.
All right, so the 2022 lavish lifestyle. You drive a lavish car, a Honda Accord. What was your highlight in the entertainment world for 2022?
The highlight in the entertainment world for me was when I think it was the Selena Gomez documentary that came out, actually. Shortly after, I think that's when the Prince, the Prince and the Princess, when they came out with their a lot of people have been coming out with different documentaries opening up about a lot of different issues that are going on in their life. So with the Selena Gomez one, she's been working from when she was younger. For a lot of you guys who know the show Barney, Demi Lovato and her used to be on it.
Barney, and not the purple dinosaur.
Barney is a dinosaur. Yeah.
No, give me the song. Give me the song. I don't remember it. Come on.
Barney is a dinosaur. I don't know the rest of it.
What is that? Come on, kicking the jams out.
We need that background music for the Barney. I don't know. I don't know it. I don't remember. But she did come out with a documentary that was talking about, the industry, her mental health, and how she was, admitted to rehab and so forth. And I think that these type of documentaries, even with the royal family releasing one and Whitney Houston's, well, that one's more of a movie, but all these documentaries that are coming out has definitely been speaking to a lot of seasonal depression that a lot of people have been facing and a lot of mental health issues. And a lot of things that are going on behind closed doors. And I'm so glad that you asked me this highlight, because I think that it's us taking a step forward into making these conversations more normalized to talk about. With everything going on, especially with the pandemic that just hit us, a year back. It's definitely something that I like to see. I think it's a step forward in the mental health industry, and to be able to have a space where we can see that, and to have influencers who speak about it. It definitely does take a big toll on everyone's life who has dealt with that. Joe, do you have anything to speak on that issue itself, or have you heard about the documentary that came out, or
Yeah, of
anything this
course.
year?
I have heard about the documentary, and now through COVID times, and it's not been a year; it's like 3 years almost or
Mhm.
more. Like let's face it. Here's another thing: COVID got us at home, got us, thinking about each other and all that. And there's more violence than ever in the world. There's more violence than ever in the world. And Sam, I gotta ask you this, and I'm being serious. As the president of the provinces of Canada, as mayor elect of North America, and all that, do you wear your mask?
On public transit, if I'm going in public spaces, I do. I know recently with the, mask mandates being lifted, a lot of people have not, and I haven't worn it in some places, but I always tend to do it when I see other people are doing it too, just to be respectful. For example, if I'm in an Uber and he's wearing his, then I'll put on mine. It's really, I'm starting to take it off, but I was always one of the stragglers that were kind of hesitant to, because I know not everyone has had their vaccination, or they have mixed opinions on that.
Have you got vaccinated?
Yes, I have my booster.
And how many shots did you have? 2, 3, 6? What?
I had my first dose, my second dose, and then I had a booster.
So
That's
like
it.
3 times. 3 times.
Just 3 times,
Right.
yes.
And you heard of some people having 3, 4 times, and then they having medical issues like
Yeah.
A cardiologist and stuff like that. Like there's something
Yeah,
fishy going on here. There's something banana-y going on here with this COVID situation.
right.
And
Due
that
to the
that's
industry I work in, I had to get my shots. I did
I
have a
never
friend.
gave you a mandate. You work in the entertainment industry. I never told you.
Absolutely. But going into the studio, Joe, because other people were interacting there, I needed to get it. But I do have a friend whose father passed away after he did take his vaccination, and I know it made my friend hesitant to take his. There's a lot of different things that are going on. I remember the first time I got my vaccination, I waited to grow an extra toe. I was waiting for a nickel to stick on my forehead and things to happen, but nothing
Okay, well,
magical.
hold on. Get a nickel. Get a nickel. You said a nickel to stay
I
on your
don't have
forehead.
change, Joe. Only credit or debit.
Does a nickel stay on your forehead?
They said that it was gonna stick. I was gonna be, some
All right,
sort of
hold on. We
magnet.
got a question from the
Oh, some
live
sort of
audience.
magnet. Maybe I became a magnet for men. No, there's still nobody. So
Ryan saying a magnet for men. Like, don't even get me started. Now, listen, we have a question from Marty Roberts. All right. He
Mhm.
says, great to see Samantha Walters back on the Fired Up Network, lavish and all that. Two-part question. Is she coming back a one-time deal, or is she coming back regularly?
This is forever, baby. We are totally doing this. I am super excited to be back. I know I took a long and hard break, but it was definitely good to release all the stress that I had built up inside of me. I definitely encourage it for everyone, but I am back for good.
What
And
stress
Marty
did you
Roberts, I
have?
hope you had
Hold
an
on.
amazing Christmas.
You
I
said you had
cannot wait to
stress.
see you.
You said you had stress. How do you relieve stress?
I take 5-hour long baths, which is
Who
insane.
has time to take 5-hour long baths?
I do. I do. I make the time to do it, Joe. It relaxes me. I put
Why
the
not just 5
candles
minutes? Why
all
5 hours?
around.
What
The
are you doing
candles I put
after
all
5 hours?
around the bathtubs. I put salt in the bathtub and bath
Well,
bombs. Yeah. Bath
all
salt.
right. So it's New Year's Eve Saturday. All right, New Year's Eve Saturday. Okay. What's your tradition for New Year's? Do you drink sweet red wine? do you go out and party like it was 1999? You go out to clubs? Do you go up to like is your tradition for New Year's Eve?
Well, I guess the one tradition that I love and I always make sure that I see is fireworks. I love it. It doesn't matter.
Fireworks?
It doesn't matter where I am. I think that watching the countdown, doing the countdown, and seeing everybody do either fireworks or celebrating, that is the best time of the year to be. I know a lot of people renew vows to themselves and, reiterate their.
Hold on. You renew vows to yourself. So what do you say when you renew to yourself? What do you say?
I say, well, this year I'm going to actually go to the gym at least once.
At least once.
Yeah.
Once in the year or once ever?
Joe! Way to just expose me right on here.
I want to give a shout out. Hold on. I want to give a shout out. It's the holiday season. So belated Merry Christmas to your mom, your brother, your sister, your dog, everybody at the Scarborough Shooting Stars that you covered, Scarborough Shooting Stars, Patricia, Marty Roberts, Jessica, who else am I? Jen Connor. Jen Connor's getting married. I'm not even invited. This is ludicrous.
They said I could bring a +1, Joe.
No, I'm not. Believe it, I'm not a +1. I'm the one. I'm the one.
Whoa, weren't you just saying that you were a one-woman man?
Yes, I'm a one-woman man.
So if you are the number one.
I am number one. All right, number one. Now we're gonna close this out, okay? You know that New Year's song, "May old acquaintance be forgot and never." You know that song, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, do you know it or not?
Yes.
Sing it.
I don't know the words.
What do you mean you don't know the words?
I know the tune, Joe. I don't even know the words to.
Do the tune. Come on.
Okay, I'll do the tune. You do the words, okay?
Yeah.
What?
Old acquaintance, que tenga un año nuevo, Feliz Navidad, Happy New Year, all the best. What language do you want me to say?
We can do that. Feliz Navidad.
No, Christmas is over. Did I want you the next time to sing with Adam Sandler, 8 Crazy Nights?
Yes.
No, you don't want to sing with that? All right.
Absolutely.
So we're going to be back here for Lavish throughout the year. And now, Sam, more and more people are watching you. We're on all these platforms and everything like that. Female empowerment movement, part of the Fired Up Network. Are you excited? And here's the last question. I'm going to ask you, what's your New Year's resolution, but what would you want to accomplish in 2023? I know what I want to accomplish. I know a lot of people want to see me go down on my knee. All right, want to see me go down on. What are you laughing for? What a lot of people want to. Well, just let me talk here. Want to see me go down on my knee? Okay, I'm telling you, we're gonna have videos of that throughout sometime this year. Me. You're going to see me go down on my knee. That's all I'm saying. Could be for a wedding proposal. Could be that I'm actually going down on my knee for $5, 25 cents, something like that. All right. Could be like that. But I'm telling you, and we have to have video footage of that. All right. It's going to be smoking hot. It's going to be fired up. Right. And by the way, Fired Up Network, people have said, like they have TSN, ESPN, Fox. The Fired Up Network is a sports entertainment entity, and we're supposed to be what? Fun. I'm not saying the other one. N, spelling fun. Fem spells FEM for females. Female Empowerment Movement. All right. What is your resolution, or what do you want to do in 2023?
I want to get consistent with prioritizing my happiness, because I feel like for the last couple of years I've just been putting everyone else first. So prioritizing my mental health and trying to stay consistent on relying less on motivation and more on discipline. I think that's so important. So that's something I'm hoping to accomplish this year.
Hey Sam, have you ever had these vitamin waters?
Is it good?
Wait, so you're saying you didn't have vitamin water?
I never said that.
Yeah, vitamin waters. You know what milk does a body good? Vitamin water does everything good.
Is there different flavors? What flavor is that, Joe?
Blueberry pomegranate.
I never took you for a blueberry type of guy. Is that your favorite color,
Listen,
Joe?
I like any type of berries. Strawberries, blueberries, red berries, blackberries. Blackberries 20 years ago I liked it, but not now. All right? That's all I'm saying. All right. So as we close out this special edition of Lavish with Samantha Walters, I'm going to say this. First of all, Happy New Year to all the fans and listeners watching and hearing this show. And now, be kind to the loved ones. Go, give a hug to your dad, to your mom, to your girlfriend, to your boyfriend, to your mistress, or if it's a guy, what is it, misterist, misterist? Yes or no? No,
I don't
come
know.
on, you don't know. All right.
Mr. S. I love what you said, though. You know what? Shout out to The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, for saying that too. Joe just
All
talked
right,
about kindness.
hold on. You have mentioned Dwayne Johnson every show that we've been on here, and here about 2 years ago, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago. Tell the fans, the millions and millions of fans, who called you on your birthday.
The Rock was on a four-way call with Joe and myself and him, and I believe it was Jess, and it was amazing.
What when you were talking to somebody almost as big as me, all right, Dwayne Johnson, almost as big.
The president of the provinces of Canada, absolutely.
Well, no wonder you're back. All right, so what were your feelings when you spoke to DJ?
I was super excited. I was super overwhelmed with joy. I wanted to play it cool so he didn't think I was too overly crazy fan. But I think it was definitely a good conversation.
So
but one of my
year,
favorite quotes by him, which Joe just kind of touched on by telling you guys to be kind to one another, is The Rock has a quote that says, "It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice." And that's what Joe just reminded me of when he said, be kind to one another, because I think kindness is one of the most best thing that you can ever do. And it's also not only be kind to others, but be kind to yourself and be patient with yourself.
All right, so 2 years ago you got The Rock. This year, is it Janicki? Is it Bull Pit? Is it Pitbull? Is it Nicky Jam? Is it Bunny Bad? Is it who?
Well, earlier we had a conversation, Joe, and you told me Kevin. I'm not going to say the
you
last
told me
name.
Kevin Bret Hart. You told me you want Kevin Bret Hart. That's
Yeah.
Listen, I think you're even taller than him. I think
maybe.
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 All right. So as we close this out, tell everybody how they could get you on social media and any shout outs that you want to do, because hopefully you'll be back on here more than once a year.
Yes, shout out to everybody who has been kind to themselves this year and kind to one another. I want to also give a shout out to Jess and to everyone who's been on the show too in the past with me, to Jen Connor, to every show that I've kind of been on in that sense, and to Joe for being so kind and so welcoming and constantly keeping his doors open, making sure that the Firedup Network is always fired up. You know what? One thing I've been telling my family is Joe puts the fired in the up, so it's definitely there.
Wait, hold on.
But,
I put the fired in the up. Like, what? You're fired? What is that?
Yeah, I was just like, he puts the fired in the up because he's always fired up. But You guys can follow me on social media on Instagram and Twitter at Samantha_media with an extra A at the end. Don't forget to tune in to the Fired Up Network and the Fem Network, where you can watch Lavish being streamed on all platforms. Joe, tell them how many platforms we are now on this year.
Audio platforms 212, including Alexa. All right. And I like to give a shout out, say Happy New Year to Alexis. All right. I want to say
Guys,
wait, hold on.
212 is the birth. So
you just gave away Chris. What's wrong with you? Don't give away your address.
Everyone knows I live in Burlington.
Now, what are you doing? Seriously, Sam. Now you tell everybody you live in Burlington, 212 Burlington. You might as well just give the street O'Connor Drive. Come on. There you go.
It's Niagara Falls Drive, but
no, Niagara Falls Drive in Burlington?
No.
I gotta Google that. I gotta Google that. All right, Sam. Again, everybody, I want you to have a happy holidays and happy New Year. And like I said, to your moms, dads, brothers, sisters, boyfriends, girlfriends, and all that, be kind, be nice, give them a hug when you never know what happens and all that. So go ahead, you get the last word.
Yes, thank you guys. I hope you guys are having a very happy holiday. Please just continue to be kind to one another. Continue tuning in, and definitely let us know if you have any comments, topics, anything that you would like us to speak on. We want to make sure that you guys get heard. One of the things about the Fem Network and the Fired Up Network is we constantly shed light on the voices of the community, and we're able to talk about the things that nobody really wants to talk about. So tune in and definitely subscribe and stay tuned and stay warm.
It's not even cold outside. Next week's
We
gonna be
just had a storm, Joe.
Just first of all, you said Jess. What is Jess saying? Is she coming back on the Fired Up Network soon or what?
Only time will tell.
Well, TikTok, the time's gonna go. Come on. And by
TikTok.
the way, yeah, you're gonna do TikToks now. You want to tell everybody your TikTok?
No, I don't have.
You have TikToks. They're like a Burlington. Just check out Sam Burlington, and you'll find the TikTok. All right. So again, Happy New Year, all the best. Really glad and excited to have Sam back, part of a Fired Up and Fem family. Hopefully, we'll have this more than maybe once a week or twice a week. But Sam, this time I want you to talk really about entertainment. Like, what do you do at clubs? Do you get hit on clubs? Do you need security guards? Do you go upstairs where you're not supposed to go upstairs? What, are they charging $12 a shot for beer? Like, I want these investigations.
New Year's, Joe, I'm gonna be going bar hopping, which is gonna be so cool.
Well, what's your favorite bar in Toronto?
I think that most of the ones I went to were in Ottawa, but in terms of Toronto, I have more favorite restaurants, lavish restaurants, as opposed to bars. But this New Year's, that's a whole change, and I'm definitely going to explore that.
22 years ago, your favorite restaurant was Popeyes. All right, now your favorite restaurant. Joe, do you want to meet at Swiss Chalet? Why? Why do you want to go to Swiss? Is that your favorite restaurant? Popeyes, Swiss Chalet. Come on. No, what are you going to tell me next time? You want to go to the Barrel of Pickles?
No, there's a new restaurant that I went to. It's a Mediterranean restaurant downtown called Casa Madura. I went there the other day. There's live entertainment.
Casa Madura. All right, because you mentioned it, they better be a sponsor here for Lavish when we come back in the new year.
Yay!
Get to work that Casa Madura.
I'm going to go there just so I can vlog the food and be able to show you guys exactly the experience that I've received. It's amazing.
Sam, I'm on a seafood diet. Whatever I see, I eat. All right. Happy New Year. Sam, tell everybody once again how to get a hold of you.
Absolutely. You guys can get a hold of me on social media at Samantha_media with an extra A at the very end. Thank you, guys.
Sam, and stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. Thanks, Sam.
Thank you, Joe.
That was Samantha Walters here on Lavish as we close out the show tonight. I'm going to give you a scoreboard update in the National Hockey League. The Buffalo Sabres doubled up on the Detroit Red Wings 6-3. Florida all over Montreal 7-2. Sorry, Justin Levine. Overtime, Ottawa defeats Washington 4-3. End of first period. The Kings lead the Colorado Avalanche 1-0. Winnipeg end of second, beating Vancouver 3-1. End of second. Dallas, Minnesota tied up at 1. End of second. St. Louis leads Chicago 2-1. Midway through the third, the Islanders beating Columbus 2-0. In a shootout, the Rangers and Tampa is 1-1. And at the end of the first period, it is the Maple Leafs leading the Arizona Coyotes 2-1. Now, World Juniors, it's Finland defeated Latvia 3-0. In overtime, Sweden beat Czech Republic 3-2. U.S. gets by Switzerland 5-1. And Canada wallops Austria 11-0. 11-0. In the NBA, a minute left in the fourth quarter, Memphis leading the Raptors 119-104. 10 seconds in the fourth quarter left. Boston leading the Clippers 114-110. Third quarter, San Antonio all over the Knicks 91-76. Halftime, Dallas beating Houston 65-51. Two finals. The Indiana Pacers beat the Cleveland Cavaliers 135-126. And Charlotte beats Oklahoma 121-113. NFL halftime, Dallas leads Tennessee 10-6. In college bowl action today in the Cheez-It Bowl. I know Sam and Marty are eating cheesies. Cheesies are good. Maybe you should have that for New Year's Eve. Florida State, 13th ranked, beat Oklahoma 35-32. And in the Pinstripe Bowl, Minnesota gets by Syracuse 28-20. And the first quarter, Washington leading Texas 10-3. 10-3 there. In English Premier League, it was Linton Town 3, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Middlesbrough 2, Blackburn Rovers 1, 0-0 draw between Cardiff City and Covington City, Huddersfield Town 2, Rotherham United 0, 0-0 Millwall and Bristol City, Sunderland beat Wigan 4-1, West Bromwich beat Preston North End 2-0, and Sheffield United beat Blackpool. No, not the Blackpool Comeback Club 2-1 also. Big news in soccer, like we talked about with Carmen Asako, the passing of the great Pelé. Also, La Liga came back to action today. Genoa and Real 2-2. Athletic and Real Betis 0-0. And Atletico Madrid ganó versus Lecce 2-0. All right, that's La Liga in Spain. And Bundesliga comes back next month. One other thing here, let me check. Major League Baseball, the Marlins agreed to a 2-year, $17 million deal with Segura. Also, Braves acquire Lute from the Yankees for 2 prospects. And Blue Jays Ryu is targeting a July return from Tommy John surgery. Now, I'm going to get to some wrestling news. I know Patricia wants to know this wrestling news. It is everybody's talking about this, but I'm going to say this. You are hearing this first and only on the Fired Up Network. All right? AJ Styles today at a house show, injured at a house show today, got injured. Sasha Banks will appear for New Japan Pro Wrestling, and then Sasha Banks will be the mystery partner of Saraya Page of WWE fame in AEW. Bank it, book it. If I'm wrong, cut John Carlos' hair, make him bald for once in his life. I'm telling you right now, Sasha Banks, the new mystery partner of Saraya, January 11th, Los Angeles, Dynamite. By the way, don't forget, AEW will come to Winnipeg in March, and I hear they're coming twice to Toronto in 2023. And the next card from WWE coming to Toronto, they are here tomorrow for a house show tomorrow at the Coca-Cola Coliseum, where you'll see Bianca Belair, Seth Rollins, Bobby Lashley, all these, Kevin Owens, tomorrow at the Coca-Cola Coliseum. I know Marty Roberts, you cheapskate, you love wrestling. You're sitting up there in the nosebleed section. Come on, you could have gave your son, instead of giving him a nice, cool Pittsburgh Penguins Christmas jersey, should have gave him some wrestling tickets, all right? Shouldn't give him. Now, all seriousness, I hope everybody has a happy and safe New Year. And don't drink and drive. And also, hopefully, this year is your best year yet for the Fired Up Network and fam. It will be guaranteed. And remember, the holiday season, go out and check on your loved ones, check on the people who unfortunately are in homes and all that. It goes a long, long way. For John Freeman Nelson, for Carmen Asako, for Courtney Riddle, for Andy McNamara, a cast of thousands, Samantha Walters also, Drew Ebanks, Anthony Kay. And by the way, Drew, hopefully you're not mad. I rejected your marriage proposal, all right? I rejected your marriage proposal. Hopefully you find somebody. Drew, man, you got to be on point, on location, all the time, there. On point, on location, everywhere, there. And for my family, Happy New Year. Te quiero mucho. Te amo mucho. Mi mama, papa, Patricia también. And my sister, hopefully you have a great time in Florida. So, till tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. for the world famous soccer show, this is Joseph Pasek bidding you all farewell on the Fired Up Network. Female Empowerment Movement. Don't forget to check out our website, firedupnetwork.ca. Firedupnetwork.ca. And like I talked with Sam, also just a key point, every Thursday we have the flagship show you've been watching, Fired Up Live. Also, don't forget, all our shows can be heard audioly on 212 platforms. 212 platforms. Some of the platforms are Amazon Music, Alexa, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, SoundCloud, TuneIn, Podbean, Stitcher, Spreaker, Anchor, Castbox, you name it, we got it. 212. Don't forget to download our app, the Fired Up Network app, available on iOS and Android. Just go to the App Store, search Fired Up Network, and we're also on social media, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok, Discord, Clubhouse, Pinterest at Fired Up Net, YouTube, Snapchat at Fired Up Network, and check out Female Empowerment Movement Fem on Twitter and Instagram at Join FE Movement. That's Join FE Movement. And for the thousands and thousands who are watching this now, new watchers and listeners, check us out. We are going to shock the world in 2023. No, Eric Cohen will not go bald. Maybe. All right? Stay tuned for more great programming here on the Fired Up Network. Happy New Year, everybody.